month or so we'll see in Arizona.
Yeah, they have known each other since going back to playing high school football.
Gentlemen, congratulations and welcome to the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl college football playoff semifinals. We're going to flip this coin. Heads, tails. Captain, what is your call?
Tails.
The call is tails. And it is heads. You won the toss.
Defer.
You'll defer?
Yeah.
Clemson has won the toss and elected to defer. You're going to receive. Which way would you like to kick? Just that way? Ohio State's choice this half, they will receive. Good luck, gentlemen.
Lined up right across from each other are the coin toss. Number 18 for the Tigers, Jadar Johnson, who made some comments about Barrett, who was 2 feet away from him there. Interesting, Kirk.
Yeah, and I think in his mind, he was just being real, as he said afterwards. I think J.T. Barrett told everybody, hey, it's part of the game, no big deal, but you're a competitor. A guy calls your game out, you're pretty excited to get on the field and try to prove him wrong. Not
the best quarterback we've faced, limited as a passer. That's basically what Johnson was saying about number 16. Watson fired up and ready. This has been the Nissan pregame rush. The Buckeyes and the Tigers about ready to get it on here in Glendale. Only the third meeting between these two schools. The other two have been in bowl games. Both were classics, memorable for different reasons. Came right down to the wire. Both won by Clemson. I wonder if the Tide, looking in, have a preference in this game.
You know how Coach Saban is about that, but Chris, as far as this game and the beginning of this game, you had such a long layoff, the energy in this building. How do these teams handle that? Who's best prepared to deal with the emotional aspect of the game early?
Clemson's kickoff coverage team was a weak spot a year ago. A touchdown allowed to Bama. It's been much improved this year, and Greg Hugel, the sophomore, has improved his kickoff length. Harris, Campbell, and K.J. Hill deep for the Buckeyes. Hugel drives it to the goal line. Here's Campbell. Has some room, a little crease, and Paris Campbell spins out near the 34-yard line. Tankerously made the tackle, and here comes J.T. Barrett, just his second postseason game. The other was here a year ago.
Yeah, veteran who's played a lot of football, has a great deal of confidence, very efficient. He hasn't had the kind of year that maybe he had hoped for as far as his passing game, but he is the leader. He has run the football quite a bit later in the year against especially Michigan State and Michigan. But Urban Meyer and J.T. Barrett telling us they're going to have a different approach. I think it's going to be more wide open and more balanced throwing the football tonight for Barrett, which puts pressure on his offensive line.
Yeah, it's been very run heavy the second half of the season. They get Samuel an instant touch on the pop pass, and the speedster from Brooklyn gets a short gain of about 4. Tonight's Chick-fil-A impact players.
We'll start with Curtis Samuel. He's going to Ohio State will try to get him 15 to 20 touches. It opens up other aspects. We talked about somebody besides Curtis Samuel's got to make plays. Look for Noah Brown. And on the other side, it's Christian Wilkins up front and Bulwer as well.
Samuel again in the flat, but Dorian O'Daniel, the linebacker, was ready for him.
And Dorian O'Daniel doesn't get enough credit with this defense. It has a lot of big names. He is in that hybrid position where he's an outside linebacker, but because he is so fast and so athletic, they put him out on the slot because he can make plays in space just like that.
Brent Venables' Clemson defense terrific on third down. Buckeyes need 8.
And this is the first test for that offensive line. They've worked very hard to improve their pass protection, especially on the right side.
As you mentioned, Kirk, they're showing blitz right up the middle. Bulwer number 10 there. He drops back. Joseph comes. They pick him up. And Weber drops one in the flat. Would have had enough space for the first down. Instead, the Buckeyes go 3 and out.
They were able to outflank Clemson. They were able to get to the outside. He's all alone. It's a ball that Mike Weber's got to be able to hold on to, and if he catches that, he turns the corner and he picks up easily picks up enough yardage for that first down, but he drops it here early in the game.
The brilliant Cam Johnson, the Aussie, back to punt for the Buckeyes. Artavis Scott, the veteran receiver, has taken over the punt return role the last few games. He is crowded, does make the fair catch at about the 15-yard line, and Deshaun Watson will be backed up for the first possession. No panic ever is what the Tigers staff says about their quarterback.
Well, it's because he's run this system since he was in high school, when Chad Morris, who was the offensive coordinator, recruited him. So he came into Clemson. He's now in his third year of running this system, and what helps is there isn't a defense that he's not familiar with. So you're going to run tempo. You're going to show a lot of different things, but he is so calm and quick with his decisions. It opens up so many different aspects of this offense, running and throwing.
Scott comes in motion. We use this a lot. And Buckeyes string it out. Sam Hubbard, the defensive end, made a nice play. And the Chick-fil-A impact players on this side.
Ohio State will be tested by the speed of this Clemson team. I think it's the matchups on the outside. We talked in the open. Mike Williams, the receiver number 7. Jordan Leggett, the big tight end. When they get one-on-one, Raekwon McMillan, the heart and soul of the defense, and Marshawn Lattimore, number 2, who's at the top in one-on-one coverage, especially against Mike Williams.
In motion, Wayne Gallman out, empty backfield on 2nd and 9. Watson has lots of time and tries to get it to Williams. Intercepted by Gary and Conley along the sidelines. The receiver fell down, and the junior corner makes his 4th pick of the year.
Well, that's been the one area that Deshaun Watson has struggled, is he really expects his players to be able to make plays. But watch how Gary and Conley is able to undercut that. He anticipated the route going out to the corner. Once he saw Williams, who he just talked about going out there, he's able to get his head turned around, locate the football, and go up and make the play. I think he makes that interception, even if Mike Williams does not slip.
20th pick for the Buckeyes. They're plus 17 in turnovers already, though. Footing an issue, and it has been in the past on this field. For the Buckeyes from the 33, Barrett. His first keeper, the first of many tonight, picks up about 3.
As much as Clemson will blitz the linebackers, 10 Boulware and 34 Joseph, Ohio State, I think, will try to work the edges more, try to get to the perimeter in running the football. Those linebackers blitz up the middle. It's like Ohio State has a true freshman, Michael Jordan, the left guard, down.
One of those guys who stepped in and earned a starting role in the Big Ten as a true freshman. We'll take a timeout while they look at him. Now at Greatness Awaits, presented by PlayStation. We talked about Curtis Samuel, the only player in the FBS with 700 rushing and 800 receiving yards, almost 10 yards per touch in the first series. They tried to get the ball to him twice in different ways.
Michael Jordan going off. He was helped off the field. It looked like Jamarco Jones stepped on his ankle, but sophomore Demetrius Knox now in the game at left guard.
Not seen a lot of action this year. Put in a tough spot against a very good defensive line. 2nd and 8. Play action. Barrett still has it. Has some time. Flips it complete inside the 25. Short of the marker is Terry McLaurin, just his 11th catch this season.
Clemson does such a good job of pressuring quarterbacks all year. They're 2nd in the country with 46 sacks. It's been sent. The message has been sent to get the ball out fast in this game.
Well, they're playing fast, but Barrett is dropped by Cleveland Farrell for a loss on 3rd and 1.
And remember, we just talked about Knox coming in. He's been on the sideline. Well, he better adjust to the speed of this game, because right across from him, there he is. He gets off the ball slow, and there's Farrell, who's played great this year as a freshman. Just the suddenness and quickness, I think, surprised Knox. And again, he wasn't even off the line of scrimmage. You're on the sideline early in the game. You got to keep your head in the game and be ready to go.
Tyler Durbin, ultra reliable until he missed his first 2 attempts against Michigan. Finally made the 3rd one to force overtime, and this one is no good. From 47 yards, it drifted right, and that's an ominous sign, because Durbin's confidence is a little bit fragile right now, and the Buckeyes cannot cash in the interception of Watson.
Yeah, that is a big win for the Clemson defense. Ball is deep in their own territory after the interception. Come up with a big play on third down, forced a field goal, and Dabo Swinney is fired up.
PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, brought to you by PlayStation. Every day is the big game on PlayStation. Greatness awaits. Northwestern Mutual. Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently. Dos Equis. Respect the game. Don't drink more. Drink better. Enjoy responsibly. And Chevrolet. More 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand.
Approaching sunset in the desert. It was a soggy start to this day. Goodyear providing our aerial coverage, committed to honoring glint-worthy athletes who demonstrate hard work on and off the field. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. Deshaun Watson throwing his 16th interception of the season. If there's been a weakness for this offense, it's been that turnovers have been a problem, specifically interceptions, but it never seems to rattle him or hurt his confidence one iota.
I think part of it is confidence in his arm, confidence in his teammates, especially the receivers, and he does such a good job anticipating, throwing the ball early that sometimes that's risky. We used to see Jameis Winston at times do that at Florida State.
Hooker comes running into the backfield, blitzing from his safety position, and grabs Gallman for a loss, Kirk.
Yeah, he timed that up very, very well. Part of their plan is to disguise and hide the blitzes, and it's exactly what Hooker did there.
You get an athlete like that, a running start, look out.
He comes off to the right here, the crowd reacting. The ball did come out. Let's see. I think Gallman is stacked up there, and the ball does come out late.
No fumble rule. Forward progress was a factor there.
Yep.
So 2nd and 10. Empty backfield. Buckeyes rush for Watson. Takes off and picks his way up the middle for a short gain. The bigger the game, the more Deshaun typically runs the football.
Yeah, I would expect him to run it 20 to 25 times tonight. When he runs the football, it seems to get their offense in sync. Ohio State, a lot of twists and movement from their defensive line, expecting more run from Watson.
There's Tyquan Lewis. It's the rush men package. 4 athletic defensive ends in there for Ohio State. Watson gets it out. Williams on the slant. Stumbles a bit, but collects it and rumbles down inside the 30. So the man whose slip created the interception makes the big play.
And there's the one-on-one matchup. This time he's able to pull away from Denzel Ward. That's a matchup that they wanted to try to get.
37 yards there. Might have been more, except he just got ahead of himself and fell down.
Think about what he had to overcome last year with the injury to his neck. Missed the entire year last year. Their magical run to the championship. He had to sit and watch his team. Has put a lot into this year. You can see he's the #1 ranked wide receiver according to Todd McShay. I think his best attribute is his size, ball skills, and body control. You get a little taste of that there on that throw from Watson.
We'll get him a rest now on 2nd and 9. Gallman picks his way and unable to escape Raekwon McMillan, the top tackler on this defense.
Raekwon McMillan, like any great inside linebacker, is very, very instinctive. Does a good job of being able to get away from the lineman trying to climb up to that 2nd level. And because he reacted so quickly, they didn't have any chance to slow him down. Another 3rd down for Watson and the Tigers. Again, man-to-man.
From the pocket, Watson for Deion Kane, who kind of broke off the route. Overthrown. Denzel Ward was in coverage.
I think what I saw, Deshaun Watson saw, is man-to-man at the line of scrimmage, but Ohio State, a little changeup. Watch him bail and drop to more of a zone, trying to confuse Watson, trying to confuse the wide receivers.
Kane lost the ball, I think, kind of hesitated, and that cost him a chance to catch it. Deshaun says, come on, keep running.
But there's confusion there with the coverage. You adjust your route depending if it's zone or man. A little miscommunication with Kane and Watson.
Tigers turn to try a long field goal. Greg Hugel from 45. And he's able to drive it through. So Clemson draws first blood. 37-yard pitch and catch to Williams, the big play. 3-0. 2 3 and outs. 2 3 and out.
This is an issue for Ohio State. They lost their starting guard here early. Michael Jordan. Knox, a sophomore, went in. That play, he didn't even get off the ball at the snap. Now, one thing we've seen is Jordan has been trying to work. They've retaped his right ankle where he's had that injury. It looks like his helmet is on, and he's in fact in that lineup with the rest of the linemen on the sideline, seeing if he's going to be able to try to give it a shot. But as soon as he went out, when you saw Demetrius Knox, who's, he's a young guy, step in there, you could see that that was a glaring concern for Urban Meyer and for J.T. Barrett and that Ohio State offense.
Jordan, one of 17 Buckeyes who started all 12 games. They've been very injury-free this year. It's been a key while they're here. Hugel to boot it away. Again, doesn't reach the end zone, and Campbell's going to have a chance again. And Paris Campbell off and running. Finally forced out in Clemson territory by Van Smith, but a big play by the Buckeyes special teams.
This is an area that Urban Meyer, as a former special teams coach, prides himself in special teams. The hidden yards, field position. What a good job there by the entire unit with the blocking. But then you can see the speed and the natural ability to run in space by Campbell is what opens this up. Great cut right back there on the kicker, and he picks up another 25 yards.
And once again, Kirk, the kickoff coverage team haunting Clemson. Much improved. They got all the way to 37th in the country in that department this year, which is much better than worse than 100, which they were last year.
The last time they had the ball, they were to 33 after the interception, not able to cash in.
Barrett's pass batted in the air and almost intercepted a diving attempt. Waving a big finger is Scott Pagano, one of the defensive linemen who returns to this game after missing some time with injuries.
Yeah, I think Wilkins was in there too. Christian Wilkins looks like he may have gotten up and batted that ball down. And when quarterbacks are getting the ball out of their hands quickly, you can't get to them, so you got to get up and knock the ball down.
Big Wilkins, number 42, as slides inside now on second down. Barrett dodges the pressure, takes off, lowers the shoulder, and is near the marker. He'll be a yard short at the 33.
That is great coverage. Brent Venables is known for his man-to-man pressure. This time they sit back in zone, but give J.T. Barrett a lot of credit. He didn't panic. He's heard all month about getting the ball out fast. He recognized zone, and he saw a soft spot there where he was able to at least have positive yards to give himself a chance here on 3rd and 1. I don't know how many times Urban Meyer told us yesterday, staying on schedule, being in that 3rd to 2 to 3 range, very important.
Buckeyes, one of the best teams in the country, is in 3rd and short, but there's a misfire on the right side of that offensive line.
And the right tackle looked like Isaiah Prince may have jumped.
Prince, of course, keyed up coming into this game. He's been criticized.
False start. Offense number 54. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Big sophomores had lots of trouble in pass protection.
It's out here. It's not 54. He gave it to the right guard, Billy Price, but it's actually the right tackle.
We'll talk more about Prince as he is challenged by a very good Tigers pass rush tonight. Needs to have a big game.
Yeah, he has struggled down the stretch. He knows it more than anybody. He's very keyed up and motivated to play better, much better tonight. Has grinded these last 3 weeks to improve.
Marcus Ball, the tight end, comes in motion. Barrett rolls to the right. Still got it. And fires it complete to Samuel along the sidelines, and Samuel slips as he cuts back, but the Buckeyes move the sticks.
3rd down, you're concerned about the pass rush, you move the launch point. Look at the tight end right there helping 59. That gave him a chance to get around the edge, but there's the ability to improvise, the patience, waiting to the last variable second to be able to eventually find Curtis Samuel, who did not give up on that play.
Both these quarterbacks have the elements of being point guards, just like a basketball play, right?
Like a no-look pass almost there on the break.
Buckeyes convert 3rd and 6, and now it's Samuel on the reverse. Chased and dropped way back at the 30. Leland Farrell off to a terrific start.
These guys have seen this jet sweep look over and over and over, and when you see Curtis Samuel go into motion, you've got to anticipate you're going to get this kind of movement from the Clemson defense. Look how quickly they got out there, and there is again Michael Jordan trying to play on that gimpy right ankle, could not get out there quick enough to deal with the speed of Farrell.
It's an 8-yard loss. The Tigers are the kings of tackles for loss. The most in the country in the last 5 years. Typically they lead the nation every single year. 114 of them now. Samuel's in the slot. And clock ran out. Did they get a timeout beforehand? Just. So the Buckeyes facing a 2nd and 18 when you come back to Glendale. Tripleheader on Monday begins with the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and Western Michigan hang with the Badgers. It's at 1 o'clock Eastern time. We're thrilled to be able to call the Rose Bowl at 5 Eastern. The Trojans and the Nittany Lions, and Auburn in Oklahoma, the nightcap in the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Demetrius Knox now back into the game at left guard. Jordan has tried and will now go back out of the game and work on his ankle.
Barrett has to escape pressure in the backfield. We drop behind the line again. Leland Farrell is a problem tonight.
Yep. And it's his ability to make plays because he has such quickness around the edge. This has been a problem for Ohio State when they have played against teams that have great skill and speed on the defensive line and linebacker. I mean, you go back and look at Penn State, Wisconsin, Michigan. They knew in their entire preparation, Urban Meyer said, we got to be a lot better at the offensive line and wide receiver if we're going to move the ball against his defense.
Barrett got knocked in the head pretty good on that play, and now in 3rd and 18 has good protection from the pocket. A 3-man rush, and Barrett fires to the end zone. Diving attempt there by McLaurin, just overthrown, 4th down.
You get to 3rd down against Brent Venables, you can see anything. They're very exotic. They blitz, they rush 3 and drop 8. They'll show pressure and drop. And that time, as you said, they showed pressure and then ended up dropping 8 guys into coverage.
AT&T pylon cam shows you the feet got tangled there, but just too far for McLaurin. And now Tyler Durbin, who missed wide right barely in his first attempt from 47, tries from 47 again, overcorrects and hooks this one wide left. So Durbin, who missed his first 2 against Michigan, has done the same tonight. He'd been incredibly reliable up until that last game.
After the interception, they were at the Clemson 33-yard line to start their last drive. Missed field goal. This time they started the Clemson 42-yard line. This time he hooks it. Both times from the left hash. How much is he dealing with the mental approach to kicking after missing 2 in the Michigan game where he hadn't missed all year, and then he misses 2 here to start this game?
Former soccer player James Madison, this is his first season playing football, so remember that. He didn't have a lot of experience feeling what it's like to miss a field goal, have to bounce back from that. Clemson takes over, and Gallman runs right into heavy traffic and his body slammed backward. Samantha.
Chris, coaches from Clemson really challenging their offensive line during that last drive, saying you've got to do a better job of paying attention and paying attention to your gap in particular. You have to give Deshaun more time. Deshaun told me that's where the adversity would come in this game because he can barely read anything pre-snap. Everything looks the same. Time is of the essence once the ball is snapped.
That's right, Sam. That's the challenge of playing Ohio State. It all looks the same until the ball is snapped, and then things get interesting. But over the middle, Renfro has a little pocket, and the slot receiver makes the catch out near the 45.
There's a great job of recognizing the blitz from 35. Worley on the slot receiver, Renfro. Just a quick side adjust, get the ball out of the hands. It's very difficult with those late blitzes to fool Deshaun Watson. But you've got to do something. You can't sit in the same coverage play after play.
Watson's second completion, 2 for 4 with that interception. Deshaun again looks right, fires for Williams, and a one-on-one battle. That time won by the all-world wide receiver as he beat Denzel Ward down to the Buckeyes 30.
Second time he's beaten Ward. Remember, Williams at 6'3". Watch how he finds the football and adjusts to it up and high points the ball over top of Ward, who's 5'10". And a great throw from the quarterback, Watson, who seems to be getting into a rhythm.
Scott cuts it back, still runs and barrels forward for 500-yard games for this big, tall, strong guy. 6'3",
former basketball player. I think playing basketball helps him so much with his body control and his ball skills. And when you're 5'10" and you're dealing with a 6'3" Mike Williams who can go up and time up his leaps, it makes it very, very tough.
He's been the top red zone receiver in the country. That'll give him confidence, Kirk, if they get down in there. They can trust number 7 in those matchups.
Yes, absolutely. Marshawn Lattimore, number 2 for Ohio State, is now out of the game. Top corner on the Ohio State defense.
And that is the last guy you want to see as they massage that left calf. If you're Ohio State, he's been a key part of this defense. Talked about his draft stock, how high it is.
In fact, it's 6'1", 192 pounds. There was some thought that he might shadow and just follow Mike Williams because of his size and skills.
2nd and 5 for Watson. Give a look downfield. Now throws to the corner. Incomplete. There was Williams, well defended by Gary and Conley. It'll be 3rd down.
Ohio State leaves their corners on islands. Clemson, Dabo Sweeney, their entire offensive staff, they knew that. They knew that they'd have some shots that Ohio State's not going to get away from and say, hey, we need to protect our corners. There's the AT&T pylon cam, so you're going to continue to see them take these shots downfield. That time Conley, who's much longer in man coverage, holds up.
Tigers need 5 on 3rd down. And there's a 1st down completion to Deion Kane, the man who was suspended, sent home before last year's semifinal game, missed both playoff games.
How about that? You keep going deep. You keep going deep. Watch the corners start getting worried. Conley's bailing, and it's 3rd and 5. He's thinking, man, they're going to maybe take another shot. He's retreating, and they just take the gimme for the 1st down.
Buckeye defense on the back foot now. Tigers have moved it 54 yards so far. Now Watson with the keeper hit hard and knocked down after a short gain. Lewis and Draymond Jones combining.
Sam had a great report about Clemson's offensive line and being challenged over there. I thought coming in that Ohio State, even though it's a young group up front, they play 8 guys. They've been rotating a lot of bodies, and they're all very skilled and athletic. You can see how quickly they're getting off the blocks and making plays against this running game.
Bowman on 2nd and 9, barrels down to the 10. They'll need 4 on this 3rd down play.
Let's see if Ohio State goes man or zone. You would think they'll not only play man, but play bump, play up close to the line of scrimmage. And last time they showed bump man, and then they retreated, and it was an easy 1st down throw to Deion Kane. Let's see if they tighten things up this time. Got Mike Williams off to the left here of Deshaun Watson, up against Conley, number 8.
And Ohio State without their top cover corner in Lattimore trying to get organized on defense. Renfro comes in motion. Buckeyes show pressure. They pick it up, and Watson in the flat to Renfro, who dives for the pylon. He will be spotted just short. Officials want to have a conversation.
How about the call here to roll away from the pressure? He definitely steps out of bounds, but rolling away from the pressure that Ohio State could bring there on 3rd down.
They're spotting the ball at the 1. He stepped out farther back
than
that.
He was at about the 3 yard line.
See if they buzz down and change it. Well, if the Tigers can play quickly, 1st and goal. Watson keeps it and scores, standing up and says, "Hush, Ohio State band." Impressive drive, running and throwing for the Tigers. 9 plays, 69 yards to stretch the lead.
And converting on 3rd down, challenging Ohio State in so many different ways. Getting the ball thrown downfield, getting the ball thrown out to the flat at 3rd down, with kind of a rub route there to get Renfro open in the flat.
Trouble on the right side of the offensive line before the snap. Pac-12 crew working this game. Land Clark, the referee. Watson never rattled by his mistakes, and he threw the pick early. Bounces right back as you'd expect he would.
Offside with contact. Defense number 59. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. Try for point.
So it was Tyquan Lewis who came across. Sean got off to a very slow start throwing the ball in last year's semifinal against Oklahoma. Had 100+ yards rushing in the first half. Then the passing game got going.
That's exactly right. But I think the style of defense that Ohio State plays allows them to be able to take some shots and really get their passing game going.
And the Buckeyes, with some trouble up front, find themselves down 10-0 now.
Watch this rub route right here. Right here you see Scott taking the corner, Arnett with him. He's locked up. Arnett's coming over to make the tackle, but he couldn't get over to stay in coverage because of that design play, and then it sets them up here inside that 1 yard line. You mentioned that maybe they might buzz down. It looked like he was more out of bounds at the 3 yard line, but they did not buzz down. That was a very effective drive, 9 plays and 69 yards for the Tigers.
And the 43rd red zone touchdown this year in 60 trips. They are one of the best at punching it in when they get close.
That has a lot to do with number 4.
Oh yeah. He's got lots of options down there, doesn't he?
You know, when they've had problems this year, it's been turnovers and not cashing in the red zone. They've had to settle for some field goals, and ultimately that's kind of kept them off the putting bigger numbers up on the scoreboard.
That's a great point. They have a great touchdown percentage, but they also have 6 red zone turnovers.
You look at the NC State game, the Pitt game, the Louisville game. There are some moments where there's one way to slow them down. It's kind of squeezing them in that red zone area.
Hugill again doesn't reach the end zone, and it's an opportunity for Paris Campbell, who had a big return moments ago. This time he's squeezed down at the 23. Tom, what do you have?
You talk about not cashing in with scoring opportunities, Chris. We've each spoken of Tyler Durbin out by his lonesome. No one really talking to him right now. He missed those 2 field goals after such a good start to the season against Michigan. A key point, J.T. Parrott coming up to him in the second half of that game, telling him, we're going to need you, we're going to count on you. You will come through for us. He ultimately did. No one in his ear right now. A long way to go, but keep an eye on the mental state of Tyler Durbin, an important player for the Buckeyes going forward.
There is Michael Jordan, the freshman left guard for the Buckeyes, walking to the locker room. Down 10 now. Barrett hands it off to Samuel, who bounces but is surrounded by a bunch of orange jerseys and dropped for a short gain.
They are really struggling on 1st and 10. Coming into that last first down play that we just saw, their last 4 first downs have been negative 2 yards. Putting them in a lot of 2nd and long. It makes it tough.
From the pocket, a lot of time to throw, and a slant there to Benjamin Victor, the true freshman, just his 4th catch this year.
Yeah, how about the offensive line that time? Against that pass rush this time, they give Barrett a lot of time, which he needed, and there's a late crossing route by the true freshman Victor for a big gain for Ohio State.
And it was a rare poor snap by the All-American center Alfond. He did a good job to coolly scoop it up and make the play. Samuel and Weber now flanking Barrett. They hand it off to Curtis, who cuts it back and bangs into Clemson territory.
Curtis Samuel is a guy who has so much ability. Their top receiver coming in tonight with 65 receptions, over 800 yards, averages 10 yards a touch. I mean, he is the go-to guy. The question tonight was, he's going to get his chances. Who else could help him? Who could be a good complement tonight besides J.T. Barrett and Curtis Samuel?
But he's got a total of 10 yards on his 4 touches so far.
Yeah.
Barrett flips it to Weber, and the running back is going to be dropped for another loss. Marcus Edmond, who's been a clutch player for this team throughout the season, made the stop there.
Yeah, he's left alone out here. Watch Campbell. He does not block him. Now you're in the open field, and Ohio State's just saying, hey, you've got to beat the corner. He's undersized. He's 175 pounds. You've got to either get around him or run over top of him, but give Edmond a lot of credit for that play in space.
He's the guy that made the pick to seal the win against NC State and the force out in the Louisville game, a yard short of the first down. Barrett steps up, dodges pressure, still can't find anybody to throw, and now he's going to be knocked down on the Ohio State end of the field. What will be the final play of a first quarter dominated by the men in orange.
Incredible to see Brent Venables and what he's doing here. Very different. He's breaking all kinds of tendencies. On 3rd down, instead of blitzing from everywhere and playing man, he's showing blitz, he's dropping in his zone, and he's confusing the Ohio State offense.
Tigers by 10 after the first quarter here at the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl on ESPN. And And welcome back to the College Football Playoff semifinal at the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Beginning of the second quarter, it's Clemson 10-0.
Talked about his third down. Every video you watch of Clemson, there's blitzes from these two linebackers. This time they bring one, they drop the other, and they also drop another defensive end. So they're playing a lot more zone than they normally would. Look into that secondary. See J.T. Barrett, they've talked a lot about he's holding on to the ball too long. And it's been a lot of times it's because receivers aren't getting separation. Urban Meyer is frustrated because now it's not necessarily about getting separation. It's about zone and change-ups from that Clemson defense, creating some confusion.
Meyer told us yesterday how difficult Clemson's defense is to figure out because you can't really figure what's their base. They don't have a lot of strong tendencies. Johnston with the backspin, and the fair catch made at the 11-yard line by Scott. The Taco Bell student section. Taco Bell in the College Football Playoff, bringing the best of the regular season to the playoff by creating the Taco Bell student section. Tonight they're picking up the tab for 500 students from each school at the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl and also at the national championship game. These passionate fans can follow their teams. How nice of them. Some grim faces there in the Ohio State section.
Remember the last time Ohio State played it, you and I called the Michigan game, and it kind of had this kind of feel, and then you had the big interception by Hooker in a similar area on the field, and it kind of changed some of the momentum around. They need something like that to be able to get them back into this game, because right now it's a one-sided game favoring Clemson.
Renfro on the little screen, gets a couple blocks and gets a great gain.
Yeah, this is the challenge of defending Clemson. They're going to take shots downfield, they're going to run the ball, and then they're going to keep you honest by throwing the ball out to the sideline. They stretch you every way imaginable.
Marshawn Latimer back in the game and matched up near side against Kane. Watson's looking to the right. Again, they throw a little short pass with a couple lead blockers to Ray McLeod near the marker.
Kind of an extension of their running game. And again, it's not just about trying to pick up yards. It's about making the safeties and the linebackers be aware that if you don't respect that outside play, we're going to keep going to it. And what that does is it sets up other aspects of their offense, especially the inside run game.
Need a yard on third down. Tigers 3 of 4 so far on third. Keeping all the way. Hit hard by McMillan. He came in and slammed at Watson right near the marker. I believe they're going to spot him a little short.
That was a great effort by the entire defense. So how about Jalen Holmes that time getting off of his block and getting penetration? But you're right, it was the inside linebacker McMillan who cleaned it up.
Does he read the quarterback's eyes as well as any middle backer in the world?
Yeah, he really does. I mean, you know, his schools, I remember seeing him one time. We were at a Clemson game. He was a senior in high school. He really came down to Clemson and Ohio State. So you know he's incredibly fired up to be going up against his Clemson team.
Wasn't a takeaway, Kirk, but it was a big stop on 3rd and 1 by the Buckeye defense that creates the punt here by Andy Teasdall, the first of the night. Uses a rugby style, boots it away from Curtis Samuel, and lets it bounce, and he gets a terrific Clemson roll. Wow, talk about flipping field position, rolls all the way down to the 12-yard line. 68 yards on the punt. PNT Inside Access showing you the unique field here in Glendale that's grown outdoors, and then they rolled it in on Wednesday. It moves at 13 feet per minute, takes a little bit over an hour to roll inside. This is the 3rd game played on this field, a couple of Cardinals games. Already there have been a couple of slips. But that punt that Samuel Kirk could not field, it bounced all the way down to the 13.
I think he misjudged it. It cost him 22 yards. If he catches that ball on a fair catch, instead it bounces deep into their own territory.
More troubles up front for Ohio State. It's a misfire from Demetrius Knox, has been forced into duty with the starting left guard Michael Jordan hurt.
Illegal snap. Offense number 65. A 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, they target the All-American center Elfline.
Urban Meyer and Ed Warner got to come up with something. It's tougher when you're obviously backed inside your own 10-yard line. They have run 17 plays so far in this game. 10 plays, 1 yard or less gained by the Buckeyes.
Weber, who averages about 15 carries per game and rushed for 1,000 yards, gets 6 yards a carry, hasn't touched it yet tonight. Tigers showing pressure from both inside linebackers on 1st and 15. Got to hurry. Barrett snaps it at 1. Wanted to throw downfield, instead just flips it short to KJ Hill, who goes down low to collect it.
Continue to do a good job of moving JT Barrett, slide protection to help the offensive line. Remember, the offensive line was a concern coming in. That was before the injury to Michael Jordan, the left guard. Mentioned Knox now in at left guard, but that time rolling away from the potential threat of a blitz or pass rush, and he had time to make that throw.
2nd and 8. It's a shovel pass inside to Samuel. Urban Meyer was joking that's his wife Shelly's favorite play, and she insists that he call it more often.
Yeah, she loved it when he was at Florida. Had a lot of success with the Gators and Tim Tebow, but this is an offensive play that Pitt, with Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator who's headed to LSU to be the offensive coordinator, they had a ton of success with this play. But Clemson anticipated, expected that to be part of the Ohio State arsenal. Saw the pressure there from Farrell, and the Clemson defense all over the call.
Buckeyes just 1 of 5 on 3rd down. Need 4 yards here. Four-man rush. Barrett. Incomplete, right off the hands of Curtis Samuel. Costly drop, and the Buckeyes will have to punt.
Yeah, and a great throw by JT Barrett there on 3rd down. Showed a lot of guts there, sitting in the pocket. There's a lot of defenders in his face. Puts it right there. Has a great passing lane. Curtis Samuel, the most reliable guy, just right through his hands. That's a 1st down for Ohio State.
That's 2 drops by Ohio State. 1 by Samuel, 1 by Weber. Both would have been 1st downs.
Yep, first series of the game by Weber.
So Scott at his own 40 to receive the punt from Johnston. Comes and peels back to set up a return. Johnston gets a good punt away, and Scott has to backpedal to the 26. Just falls down there. So Johnston does his job to try to flip field position. And Deshaun Watson goes back to work with his Tigers up by 10.
Brought to you by AT&T. Get your entertainment and sports your way from AT&T, Honda, and Taco Bell's $1 double stack tacos.
Silver spaceship out here about a half-hour west of Phoenix. Goodyear bringing you the aerial coverage, watching over the hard work and determination of the athletes for more than 60 years. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. JT Barrett, known for his fiery leadership style, trying to get his offensive line going. Protection, blocking up front, certainly been a problem against an athletic defensive front.
JT Barrett, as you say, Chris, trying to make sure that offensive line, offense early in the game still. He's trying to keep their confidence up. Big part of his game, the intangibles.
2 quarterbacks who are friends, as we said, different leadership styles. JT brings it a little harder, more forceful. Deshaun leads with his calm, his poised presence out there. Something that his team takes its cue from. This is Gallman in motion, and the running back able to just get the edge, and another excellent gain on 1st down. What a difference between these 2 offenses on 1st down tonight.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you rather live in the world of 2nd and 2 calling plays and 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 9? Time, as you said, Chris, they got outside. Ohio State, for the most part, has done a good job of setting their edge to the defense. And that's a big part of defending Clemson, forcing things back into the inside where you have a lot of white jerseys running to the football. That time unable to, and he picked up 7 yards.
Watson looks briefly out, but that was a designed run and a physical play. He'll move the sticks at the 37.
I think we came into this game thinking we're going to see a lot of that. I mean, when you run the quarterback in a spread formation with this group of wide receivers, boy, that puts a lot on a defense, because you've got to put an extra jersey or an extra hat into that box to defend the quarterback run, and that can set up some big plays one-on-one on the outside. They haven't had to go to that much yet here early in the game.
Watson flips it to Scott, who juggled it briefly, but gets a block on the edge from Williams, and another excellent first down gain. Damon Webb forced him out.
Love how Deshaun Watson, it's a simple little throw, but he's in such command. Like his delivery, and what I think the NFL is going to fall in love with him is he has such confidence and almost grace about his mechanics and how he delivers a football so accurately.
Handoff around the end to McLeod. Deshaun disappointed by finishing second in the Heisman, but not driven by it, not fueled by it in this game in a defiant way like some other guys have been. Vince Young, McCaffrey perhaps in the Rose Bowl, an example last year. Just not the way he's wired, as you know.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think he was hopeful to be able to win that, but I think he, when Lamar Jackson won it, just being there and talking to him that night, I think he was ready to get focused, go back to work the next day and get ready for this game.
And after an early interception, he has sharpened up. 8 for 11 for the quarterback. Takes a downfield shot. It was behind Williams, who was covered there by Ward, and Worley brought the pressure.
Ohio State brought pressure. It wasn't just Worley. They also brought McMillan. So they brought 6 with 2 linebackers trying to kind of shake up the rhythm that Clemson has clearly established here on offense. Trying to get aggressive. Luke Fickell, the defensive coordinator, who's taken the head job at the University of Cincinnati, dialing up some pressure to try to slow down Deshaun Watson.
There's Fickell, who works with Greg Schiano up in the booth, co-defensive coordinators. Watson in the flat. Gallman. It's a block. Spins. Still running. Gallman slammed down at the 40, right near the marker.
But great blocks on the perimeter by both Hunter Renfrow and Ray McLeod. I mean, it's a great effort, don't get me wrong, by Gallman, but look at the blocks on the outside there, and tremendous effort there. That second and third effort by Wayne Gallman picks up that first down, but give his receivers a lot of credit for helping him.
No doubt. McMillan misses very few tackles, but Gallman got away from him that time. And now Watson rolling out on the first down, delivers a low throw, bounces on the way to Renfrow.
Ohio State trying to prevent the big plays. This offense can lull you to sleep with the running game, the quick little throws to the outside. They get so many different people involved. They're hoping that they can impact your eyes, especially the safeties. And all of a sudden you keep showing that same look and somebody sneaks behind you, and that's where a lot of their big plays come.
Clemson terrific balance so far. 14 passes and 14 runs. They hand it off to C.J. Fuller, who backs up Gallman. His first carry tonight gains 3. So 3rd and 7 coming. Not quite in comfortable field goal range for Hugel.
We have not called Jordan Leggett's name a lot tonight, the big tight end who's in motion right here.
Watson rolls, looking downfield for Renfrow. Intercepted. Malik Hooker, the All-American safety, with his 4th of the season and the 2nd pick of Deshaun tonight.
Boy, the range that Malik Hooker has is as good as any safety in the country. He just sits back and plays center field, reads the eyes of the quarterback, but to see how far he came to make that play, tremendous effort by Hooker, who comes up with his 7th interception on the year.
Hooker, of course, had that pick 6 right in front of LeBron James, who is his all-time sports idol. That was a feel-good moment for him.
All year for the Ohio State defense. Watch how far he's inside the hash when that ball is thrown and is able to chase the football down. He read the eyes, the energy from Deshaun Watson. He knew that ball might go downfield to Renfrow. Got to jump on it. But that's really what separates him from many safeties in the country. And the timing, down 10, Clemson driving, comes up with a big play.
Got huge hands, too. 3XL gloves. One of those guys shake the hand, just get swallowed.
Yeah.
So there's Weber, his first carry, and the 1,000-yard rusher bolts for about 5. Tom?
the report on left guard Michael Jordan, medial sprain to the right ankle. He went and had x-rays. They were negative. Went back to the locker room shoeless. They worked on it. He's now back out on the field. Just worked out with Mickey Marotti, who waved him over so that he's ready to return to this game. We'll see how able he is to go. Clearly limping at this point, but still trying, Chris.
Tom, thank you. Stepped on by a teammate early on, and that's been a problem. They've had other problems up front, but one of them has been Jordan's absence. Watkins batting that one down.
That's second time the big fellas up front. We saw Wilkins earlier with a quick throw, knock it down. This time it is Carlos Watkins. You know, defensive coaches, defensive line coaches around the country, that has become a drill. You know, with the spread offense, with a quick game, you're not going to get to the quarterback. So these guys do such a good job of looking into the backfield and timing up when to knock the ball down. They did it again.
Samuel near right slot now on 3rd and 5. That guy's got to hurry. Play clock at 2 as Barrett gets it. Pressure in his face. Samuel makes the catch. It's going to be very close. Tankersley was in coverage. Forward progress.
Boy, he is
right near the 30. Yeah, it's first down.
He's right at the spot. Exactly where to get for that first down.
So Samuel now, Kirk, 5 catches for 26 yards. He's run it 3 times, a total of 8 touches, but only 25 total yards, way below his average.
Now, I'm going to take a look at this. Actually, Clemson calling a timeout.
Timeout. Clemson, the first of the half.
Dabo Swinney says maybe if we take a timeout here, we can get the replay booth to look at that spot. Don't tell me an Ohio State controversial spot's going to come into play here again in this game.
Oh, you know, where they spot it and where he is. To me, he looks like he's at about the 29.5.
Put his back at the 30, but the ball never got to the 30.
No, looks like, I mean, there's his feet.
Tankersley, a terrific job to come up and hit him immediately. So this is a reviewable spot because it does involve a first down. So let's see if the booth, Fred Gallagher, Pac-12 replay official here. Yeah, I don't think that ball broke the plane at the 30.
No, it didn't look like it. Official from the Clemson side, where Dabo Swinney is asking the official to come over to talk to Dabo.
I believe that's why he would take the timeout in that situation. I can't think of another reason. He's being told by his guys up in the booth that Clemson coaches are just off to our right. Ohio State coaches to the left. I think they were pretty convinced that our replay showed that that ball was not across the 30. But, and it's crowded, by the way, on both sides. Ohio State right over here. Greg Schiano down there in the front row with the glasses. They're going to give him the first down. Okay. Michigan fans are hollering. Barrett throws it near side, and the catch is made by Noah Brown, and the big physical sophomore gets involved for the first time.
Talked about Clemson playing more zone than they typically play with Brent Venables' attacking defense. He attacks, he plays a lot of man, he disguises. Well, the answer these last few plays to that zone is just get the ball out. 5-yard hitch, get the ball out. If they're going to drop and sink and they're going to give you that underneath throw, Ohio State figuring they might as well take it. Now they move Samuel down to the bottom.
Barrett chased and dropped. Carlos Watkins, the one senior in that talented defensive line rotation, got him.
And this time they only rush 3. Watch how they, right here, he's able to work through this gap. See, Wilkins drops. He's able to fight through both Billy Price and Isaiah Prince. Rushing 3, dropping 8, and Urban Meyer's frustrated because he knows if they can rush 3 and drop 8 and still get after J.T. Barrett, that's a major concern as a play caller.
You get home with a 3-man rush, forget about it. No shot.
That fast.
They need 3 now in this third down. Samuel is in the slot to the left. Barrett looks that way. He's covered, deflected, and falls to the turf at midfield. Carlos Watkins again got a big hand up. It's 4th down.
And if he doesn't do that, that's a first down to the tight end Marcus Ball. I mean, how about this defensive line? The game that they're playing, whether they're rushing and getting after J.T. Barrett, or if they're getting their hands up to knock the ball down with awareness.
There's big Dexter Lawrence. We haven't called his name tonight, but he's the talented true freshman. You got one true, one redshirt freshman, 4 sophomores, a junior and a senior. That's the guys in the top 8 in that defensive line. That's nasty. Scott makes a fair catch, retreating back to his 16-yard line, but Clemson's defense continues to impose itself. Lead is still 10. Five years top programs. Clemson can reclaim the number 4 spot. Florida State jumped over them by 1,000th of a point by beating Michigan last night in the Orange Bowl to ACC powers. Alabama number 3, 64-6, and number 2, I should say. And there's Urban Meyer, 61-5. But the Buckeyes with some problems to solve. Both sides so far, as Clemson tries to build its 10-point lead before halftime. 6:05 to go. They pitch it off to Gallman. And Gallman with another tremendous gain on first down. It's been second and short all night.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of times they're running off to that right side, right perimeter, getting a couple good blocks. There's nobody out there because of the block by Leggett, the big tight end. Even Deion Kane got involved, so a nice running lane, and there they are again, 2nd and 2.
Ballman hit immediately and knocked down hard by McMillan.
Raekwon McMillan is having a game in the middle, and to be able to defend their inside run game against Gallman and also Watson, you need your middle linebacker to be able to jump it and get up into the backfield, just coming downhill in a hurry before those linemen have a chance to get up to you. And he has done that numerous times here tonight, having a big game for Ohio State's defense.
Made a big stop on the last 3rd and short. Tigers need 2. Needs Gallman in the backfield. And Renfro in motion. Deshaun looks for Renfro. And the little guy makes a catch and a first down across the 35. He was the star in a loss to Bama last year. A couple of touchdown catches in that game.
What did I say to Greg Schiano about how do you stop the quick slant? Because on 3rd and 3 to 5, you've looked at it for 4 weeks. It's coming. And here's one of the first 3rd and 3 to 5s that we've seen, and there it is. A lot of times it's Mike Williams. This time he gets to the inside with a great route from Renfro.
Gallman, nowhere to run, slipped down. Draymond Jones was there. Renfro with 3 touchdown catches in last year's 2 playoff games. Nobody's got more in the brief history of the playoff.
He had a coming out game against the Bama defense last year. I think surprised a lot of people with those 2 touchdown receptions.
Broken bone in his hand. He missed about 4 games this year. Put a screw in it, part of the surgery, and he's helped this offense. It's a different offense when you've got the reliable slot guy in there. This time Watson fakes the pitch and cuts it back to the left, and Watson with some room. Still sliding free, still running. Deshaun Watson finally will retreat out of bounds all the way at the Ohio State 33. His first big play as a runner tonight.
Yeah, they go quarterback counter. Great block there by the right tackle. Actually, the tight end gets out there in the right guard. Morris, the tight end, Leggett with a great block. And when you give him enough room to be able to get out in the open field, he has such acceleration. He's able to run away from the defense, and a huge gain for this Clemson offense.
He had been contained as a runner until that one. 33 yards. Moves it to the 33.
Slow developing counter, and he waits, shows patience, and then explodes through that hole.
Renfro, another catch, cuts it back, gets away. A flag comes in as Renfro is knocked down at the 15. That was a flag where receivers were blocking.
Yeah, Artavis Scott on the hold. Like Gary and Conley was trying to get to the football.
Holding. Offense number 3. A 10-yard penalty. Play. First down.
It is on Scott.
Does a good job initially when he's blocking, but it continues to work because of Conley's effort, and then he grabs the jersey. Great move, by the way, by Renfro on Webb, and And there's the hold.
Can't make it that obvious.
No. Then he's going to argue it.
I'm
not sure what he's arguing.
About 15 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's arguing there.
So it's a net gain of a yard. Spot foul moves it back to the 32.
Empties either quarterback draw or a quick throw.
It's a flip screen. Williams comes back to get it, but a lot of Buckeyes closed in. Jones from his defensive tackle position got out there.
Yeah, they go back into the boundary where there's not a lot of room.
It's an unusual play.
It is. It is. I mean, you're hoping to kind of find a quick crease and get upfield, but the timing of that better be perfect.
Fuller is the back. And 2nd and 7. Fake it to CJ. Watson rolls out. Now lofts it for the end zone. It's Fuller out there. Touchdown! The lethal wheel route. And the Tigers stretch the lead. There's a flag back where Watson was hit.
It's a late hit.
Touchdown will count.
Jalen Holmes.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 11. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Wheel routes are a nightmare to defend, aren't they?
Well, especially when the quarterback rolls out to his right, and then they throw all the way back to the left. How about the focus and the effort there by Fuller to make that catch?
Baker interfered with him, really.
I mean, you could definitely make a case for pass interference, but he caught the football. That's a touchdown. But what we're not seeing is how they rolled to the right, and Baker had to play catch up to be able to catch up to Fuller to even have a chance.
2nd touchdown reception by Fuller this year. And Watson, although he's thrown a couple of interceptions in this first half, is enjoying a terrific evening, and the run set up the touchdown pass.
Yeah, 2nd down and 7. They're gonna fake it here and then roll out, and here he is. I mean, you can see him right here running down the right or the left sideline. But the action going away from him set that up perfectly.
Here was the hit on Watson after the throw. Holmes came in and knocked him down. So that'll be impacted on the kickoff here. The aim has been true, except for those couple of interceptions.
Yeah, he is, from the very beginning of this game, I think he has felt it. You can see the smile that's been on his face even in pregame. Something about experience and being in this playoff and being in these big games. He's dealt with such pressure all year to live up to that standard of that Alabama performance in the national championship where he had a great game. He's dealt with an enormous amount of pressure, and I think it's helped him really grow, and you could see tonight so far he is playing with a lot of maturity and poise.
After the penalty, it's a short kickoff for Hugel, who drives it right through the end zone. Well, the CFP Foundation and the Fiesta Bowl teaming up this year to award $500,000 in donations to Arizona educators around the state. The donation is part of the CFP's Extra Yard for Teachers initiative and will help to honor, inspire, and thank our unsung heroes, our teachers. As a founding partner, ESPN is proud to support the Extra Yard for Teachers initiative.
Ohio State has 9 yards rushing, almost to halftime, 67 yards passing, and you wonder why. You say, oh, they need to run more with Weber. They're losing the battle at the line of scrimmage. It's very simple. Whether you're running or you're throwing, if you don't control the line of scrimmage, you're in trouble.
That time they pick up the pressure. Samuel makes the catch at the 35. Get up to a very slow start offensively against the Wolverines in their last game. Just 81 yards at halftime.
Right now, here we talked about experience with Watson. The experience here of Barrett running this 2-minute, trying to get points on the board could be a big thing for the Buckeyes if they give him time.
Flips it off, bounces it in front of Weber, but again, heavy pressure. Dexter Lawrence, the freshman that time.
And this time they actually bring a little bit more pressure. Instead of just rushing 4, you're going to see Boulware get involved. The linebacker, Bryant, that number 91, he comes late, puts Prince on his back.
That's a big man landing on the quarterback.
Yeah.
340-pound true freshman. So Barrett on 3rd down, desperate to move the chains, has to work hard, spins, a flag comes in. He did make this efficient yardage, but it looks like a hold.
Yeah, they're going to get a hold on Noah Prince. I'm sorry, Noah Brown, the receiver to the top of the screen.
Offense, number 80. A 10-yard penalty. Third down.
Erases a first down gain, and now it'll be 3rd and long. The Buick halftime report. Reese Davis, Desmond Howard, and David Pollock waiting patiently on the concourse level. 1:49 to go. Ohio State desperate to cut into a 17-point lead before the break here. He's 11 now after the penalty. Option look, shovel pass. Samuel almost dropped the ball, and that blew up the timing as Boulware was there to knock number 4 down. They have been well schooled the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of it has to do with, you look at an entire season and you see where's the Achilles heel? Where have they had some problems? And one of the spots that showed up had to be the shovel pass that some teams have hit, especially as we said earlier, Pitt. So they have that, as you say, well schooled and well prepared to be able to stop that play.
Ben Boulware, who comes from just down the road, Clemson. Scott with the fair catch. Not highly recruited, but he has made himself through will and heart and great instincts into an All-American linebacker.
It's been amazing to watch him grow, and not just making plays as a linebacker. By the way, he times up his blitzes as well as anybody, but it's also just how he keeps the team together. If Deshaun Watson's the leader of the team in the offense, Ben Boulware means the same thing. You can see him right there to the defense. Fired up.
He's not afraid with that big beard there to upset, to make his teammates mad, demanding that they give extra work, and they do it because they respect him. He did it this week again. You say no to that guy, that intensity? Plays with his hair on fire, says Venables. He's got a lot of hair. Watson now trying to build this lead. Throws it to Williams, incomplete. Actually, they're going to rule a catch. That the rangy receiver got out and made that catch. Wow, that was a
one-handed catch. I thought the ball was just thrown away. One hand and gets his foot down.
So they get 4 yards inside of a minute to go. Watson flips it off. Fuller again, and he barrels to the 35. Now let's see if they have some urgency here. They have 2 timeouts.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 2 timeouts, and you got a quarterback that can move the football pretty quickly with this up-tempo approach.
They don't spend one, so inside of 40 seconds. Buckeyes rush only 3. Watson fires way over the head of Williams, who slipped again. Hooker had a chance. 33 seconds to go.
An aggressive approach from Dabo Swinney shows the confidence that he has in his quarterback and his team. Clemson deferred the coin toss, so they will get the ball to start the second half, but still trying to see if they can try to steal a few more points, maybe a field goal here before the half.
A lot of coaches up 17 getting the ball to begin the third quarter will just sit on this. Not Swinney at this point. Watson stepping up, flips it to Scott. Scott cuts back. They'll have to spend a timeout now as he's dropped at the 44 with 26 seconds before halftime. So total yards in this game, 275 to 90. Of course, in favor of Clemson. They've overcome the 2 interceptions by Watson. Alabama awaits the winner of this game. Bo Scarborough, the young running back, had a breakout performance as they beat the Pac-12 champions by 17.
Yeah, Alabama, very, very businesslike defensively. I think the offense with Scarborough, they really helped. But I think the pick 6 in that game seemed to really be a momentum changer, and I think it gave Alabama everything that they needed to be in control of that game. And now here we are with Clemson talking about being in control, 17-0. It feels even worse than that because of the Ohio State offense right now. They can't run the football, not able to get their throwing game going, and Clemson right now has a ton of confidence, I think, on both sides of the football getting ready to go in at half.
And Tyler Durbin, the kicker for Ohio State, missing a couple of field goal attempts, 2 narrow misses that seemed to really deflate this team. They were not able to come up with points after the early interception of Watson. 26 seconds. It's a 3rd and 1 play, and Deshaun's pass is broken up and batted down. That was Jerome Baker charging in there, so now it's 4th down.
You bring up a good point. Ohio State with an interception in plus territory. In fact, starting a drive at the Clemson 33, they missed the field goal. They were at the plus 42 after a huge return on a kickoff from Paris Campbell. They ended up missing another field goal. So both not just missing the field goals, but having such big opportunities to start a drive in plus territory, and you come away with nothing.
Any trickery from Teasdale here? He's got a history of fakes in postseason games. It would seem unlikely with 23 seconds before halftime. He's going to boot it low again. He gets away from Samuel and bounces. That's been a very effective punt a couple of times tonight. And as the clock ticks down to 12 seconds before halftime, it is spotted down there at the 12. Mentioned the Crimson Tide. They'll be in Tampa, Raymond James Stadium, January 9th here on ESPN for the third championship game. It's presented by AT&T. Will it be a rematch of last year's classic right here in this building, won by the Tide 45-40 despite 478 total yards by Deshaun Watson. Just a safe formation for Ohio State. So they will take a knee and be held scoreless in the first half for the first time since 2011. 90 total yards for Ohio State. 275 for Clemson. Tigers dictating with a very athletic defensive front. Wilkins a part of that, but a group effort. Durbin with those two missed field goal attempts. And JT Barrett 12 of 19 passing, but for only 81 yards. And let's go to Samantha with Dabo.
Well, Coach, you know how your team handles early success better than anyone. So in your mind, despite the scoreboard right now, what's the biggest challenge you're facing?
Well, we got a lot of challenges. We did not play a perfect half. I mean, we made enough plays, made a couple of big plays. You know, disappointed in a couple of those balls that we got a receiver falls down and we get a competitive play that we don't win or at least make it incomplete. So we got to protect our quarterback a little bit in those situations. Disappointed in the kickoff coverage and one return, but hey, defense has played great. And one of the things we talked about was we were going to play great red zone defense. And we've been able to do that. We've done a nice job of containing their quarterback in number 4. So, you know, we got the lead, but it's a long way to go, man. It's a great football team we're playing.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's go over to Tom Rinaldi.
Thanks very much. Urban, down 17. What's the first thing you need to do offensively to get back in it?
We're getting some damn balls tipped, and I think we're protecting fine. We just got to execute, man. We're not. We have drop passes. We're not controlling line of scrimmage. I mean, it's A through Z. We just got to clean it up and do better. It's not like we're getting blowing off the ball, but we just got to execute and make some plays.
Appreciate the time. Good luck in the second half. Chris?
Clemson, a terrific first half team all season. That continues. 326 points scored. 94 allowed in the first half. Buckeyes down by 17. That's the biggest deficit they've had at halftime in about 6 years. The Buick halftime report coming up right after this timeout in Glendale. Watson scores and says, hush, Ohio State. Intercepted. Malik Hooker. Touchdown. And the Tigers stretch the lead. And the lead is 17. So welcome you back to the college football playoff semifinal here at the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. The Tigers dynamic on offense and suffocating on defense. They have permitted Ohio State only 3 first downs. The Buckeyes with more punts, 5, than first downs. A frustrating first half for JT Barrett. There have been some drops. There have been some problems blocking up front, Kirk. So where does Ohio State begin to try to solve some of the problems the Tigers are presenting?
Well, I think the first thing is Clemson starts the second half with the football, and Ohio State, I'm sure at halftime, with Urban Meyer and Luke Fickell, Greg Schiano, they're challenging these guys to go out and try to get the ball back, try to get a turnover. They've already intercepted him twice, not able to cash in. And offensively, man, they've got to find some kind of rhythm running the football to maybe set up some of the pass. But right now, we've not seen them run the ball 8 yards rushing in the entire first half. That can't continue if Ohio State wants to try to have balance. Urban Meyer talked all month about balance, not being one-dimensional. They've been obviously one-dimensional in that first half.
Tigers defense that invades the backfield better than anybody. They do give up a lot of yards. Louisville increased this defense for 568 total yards. So they've not been stonewalling everybody, but tonight they come prepared. A terrific game plan. Ohio State executing poorly on offense. And now Durbin to kick it away. Tavis Scott handles the punt and kickoff returns is deep, and he will just take a knee. Here's the Capital One pivotal performance, Kirk.
And I think Brent Venables in the first half deserves a lot of credit for a changeup. You expect him to always blitz on certain down and distances, especially third down. But look, JT Barrett holding the ball. It's because he's playing more zone. And he's covering all the receivers on the back end by only rushing 4, showing blitz here, dropping back. Look at the receivers. I mean, where are you going to go with the football? Nobody's able to find a spot in the zone where there's an opening. So he's sitting there just holding onto the ball. They've got to be able to get him back, make quick decisions, and find zone beaters when they came in expecting to see more man-to-man tonight from the Clemson defense.
Clemson offense goes to work from the 25. Watson 16 of 24, 197 passing yards, threw for 1 and ran for 1 touchdown. McLeod in motion takes the handoff, and the jet sweep gains just a yard. Chris Worley on the stop. To Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, thank you very much. Talked to Larry Johnson, the assistant head coach, defensive line coach, on the way out. It was not a long conversation. He suggested no sense of panic, said we were all good in the locker room. When I asked him, a lot of voices, he said almost everyone speaking up. No sense of panic. We'll have to see if that resolve turns into results, Chris.
Larry Johnson, one of the best at his craft. A long stint at Penn State before Urban Meyer hired him. And there's a completion, a short gain hit instantly is Leggett, who makes a catch for the first time tonight. We thought we'd see a little bit more of the tight end.
We really did. I think Ohio State's done a good job. I've seen Deshaun Watson many times looking Leggett's way in the first half, only to have great coverage by the Buckeyes. That time Worley, even though Leggett makes the catch right there, no yards at all after the catch, set this third down up.
We need 4 in the Rushman package in again for Ohio State. They have not sacked Watson yet tonight. Well protected, looking for Renfro, who is well covered, and no flag. Got his feet tangled up with Gary and Conley. 4th down.
Conley had the big interception early in the game when he was defending Mike Williams one-on-one. Tell you, he has great technique. He does a good job of staying in phase, meaning he's running stride for stride with Renfro, which allows him to read the eyes of the receiver and then turn and find the football. Does a good job of shielding Renfro away from the ball. That's a great play there by Gary and Conley.
Yeah, his coach, Kerry Coombs, who coaches the cornerbacks, an enthusiastic guy, would you say, was jumping up and down, enjoyed the play by his corner. And the Buckeyes are able to force a 3 and out to begin the second half. Isdall kicks it right along the ground. And backpedaling is Salmon, who'll field it at the 25, but nowhere to run. Tavis Scott, the receiver down there in coverage. Sam?
Yeah, Chris, I'm told that in the halftime speech, Dabo Swinney spent almost all his time focused on his defense. Now, you'd think they haven't given up any points. What's the issue there? Well, he was challenging them to finish out this game, put together a complete game, and follow through on the game plan that they put together all week long. We heard it all week. Make this team abandon the run, force JT to throw, and limit Curtis Samuel. They've done a pretty good job tonight. We'll see if they can put together 4 quarters.
That's great stuff, Sam, and there's a reason for that, because at times Clemson hasn't finished well. They haven't finished off an opponent when they've been in a commanding position, especially on defense. Barrett flips it complete. Oftentimes offenses like Virginia Tech, Kirk, in the ACC game, they look dead in the water, but all of a sudden defense backs off and they get it going.
You and I called that game, and at one point it looked like, okay, what are we going to talk about? And lo and behold, Jerron Evans that night started to make some plays, and they climbed back in, had the ball actually late with a chance to tie it up.
So Marcus Baugh, the tight end, has been looked at on the sidelines. He's been dealing with a shoulder issue in recent weeks. This is Weber. He's got nothing going. Lost the ball. A scrum for it. Tigers have it, I believe, at the 40. Weber lost it, and it's a turnover. The last thing Ohio State needed, Wilkins, number 42 in the recovery.
Yeah, Wilkins comes up with it, but it's Kendall Joseph, the middle linebacker, who was fighting with Weber to be able to try to get the ball out of here. Here's Jadar Johnson there, but watch the left 34. I think he gets his hands on the ball to be able to fight it away, and actually Johnson also on his back. with his hands up there to knock that ball away.
And a very frustrating and unproductive night for Weber, but a gain there spoiled as the Tigers punch the ball out, and now setting up at the Ohio State 41.
Ohio State's defense did exactly what they talked about at halftime, a 3-and-out. They get the ball back to Ohio State, looked like they pick up a first down, and then the fumble.
It's their first turnover. Play action, Watson, a slant, Williams stays on his feet, knocked down finally at the 22.
Great play action to freeze the linebackers. They actually stepped up to chase Wayne Gallman. Huge passing lane and an easy throw for Watson to his favorite target, Mike Williams.
Targeted 9 times, 5 catches tonight for Williams. Watson fakes the pitch, cuts it back. Watson down inside the 15.
Notice the urgency. Deshaun Watson and this Clemson offense, after the sudden change, they sense an opportunity. The ball in plus territory, already up by 17. They want to try to get the ball snapped. They want to put Ohio State's defense on its heels and be the aggressor with the pivotal point here in this game.
Man, is it tough to play sudden change defense against an offense this talented that plays at this tempo. Buckeyes defense was only on the sidelines for a couple of plays, and now back out there. Gallman into heavy traffic, enough to move the sticks. It'll be first down at the 11. If it gets to 24-0, it is serious desperation time for an Ohio State offense that has struggled to create big plays really most of the season.
Well, and not only that, they have 3 first downs in the first half.
Williams dragging a man down to the 3.
That's just a play where the quarterback sees soft coverage. There's a play, actually, it's tagged. There's a run call. The linemen are running a run play. The running back's running a run play. Deshaun Watson looks out to his right, sees soft coverage, and says, instead of running, why don't we just throw it to Mike Williams and let him make a play after the catch?
Would you have imagined they could be this good on first down tonight against an excellent defense? They're getting 7-8 yards every time.
A good recognition there by Watson.
Scott takes it on the end around. Artavis Scott sets up a first and goal.
It's like Leggett slow to get up there. Going to actually check himself out of the lineup.
There's so many weapons, so many talented playmakers. You can take a guy as good as Leggett really out of the game. Hasn't been a factor at all, but offense doesn't miss a beat. Kane really hasn't been a factor. It's been Williams and Renfro catching the passes. And the touchdown to the backup tailback Fuller. First and goal.
Lead Deshaun Watson. Quarterback run game, always a threat inside the 5-yard line.
He still got it. Buckeyes were all over him. Quick penetration off the edge from Lattimore and a 1-yard loss.
Really good discipline from Ohio State's defense. They actually did a good job of taking away the dive and also staying outside and keeping their edges. That time Watson almost tried to bait them with that long ride with Gallman to try to get them attacked down on the running back to open his room to the outside, but the discipline there helps Ohio State.
It's Gallman. And again, excellent defense off the edge. Jerome Baker. The Tigers lose another yard, and it'll be third and goal from the 4.
That's a heck of a play there. Richard 80 tries to get out there to block Baker, but look at the quickness that time by Baker. Not only to get around the big tight end, but also to be able to make a big tackle there against Wayne Gallman.
2 plays, 2 1-yard losses. Some urgency from this Buckeye defense to keep the lead, perhaps just to 20 if they can.
Big difference between 20-0 and 24-0.
Watson rolling. Still got it. But he'll be sacked for the first time. McMillan's got him back at the 15. 3 consecutive tackles for loss by Ohio State.
Well, the defense from Ohio State comes up big. Good coverage downfield. They roll him away from the pressure, but the linebacker this time recognizes this and is able to chase him down. They get him away. Nobody's able to account for Raekwon McMillan. Tight end Leggett comes over late. But again, go back to Raekwon McMillan playing so fast, making it hard on Clemson to block him.
First time Watson's been sacked in the last 4 games. So Hugel, who's 1 for 1, this from 31 to make it a 20-0 lead. And it drifted and missed. Wide left.
Looks like Ohio State may have jumped. They're not going to call it. You can see the reaction from one of the defensive linemen.
They're all kind of just standing around. Wait a second.
They might want to run off the field because Draymond Jones, go back and look at this replay, he was reacting to Robert Landers. Looked like he jumped.
Ruling on the field. The defense got back before the snap. Field goal was no good. Timeout.
Let's see if he did get back.
It was Robert Landers who looked like he jumped. And his own man, Draymond Jones, watch, there's Landers. Jones kind of goes with him. And they sit there. The ball's not snapped. Look at the reaction from Jones, the frustration.
The snap was very late. They could have easily gotten an offside if they'd snapped it.
Not only that, but it's a missed field goal.
Dabo can't believe it. It's still 17-0. Up empty, a rare miss from the reliable Hugel, but this was confusing. Watch David Estes on the snap here.
And this is why Ohio State jumped. Watch Estes move the football, and then Ohio State react to it. There's a no call, by the way. That's why they jumped.
That's an illegal snap. Should have been a penalty there. Buckeyes, 2 guys came across. The ruling by Land Clark was they got back before it was snapped. That's not reviewable, that part of it. But the bigger point is they had first and goal at the 2-yard line and went backwards on 3 plays and get nothing out of it. So remember that series if Ohio State can find a way to get back in the game. Samuel cuts it back on the edge, knocked down at the 25 after a 5-yard gain.
They've done a very good job of bottling up Curtis Samuel for the most part tonight. 4 carries, only 4 yards. He has 7 receptions for 39 yards. So not a lot of big play opportunities. He's talking about a guy that averaged 10 yards a touch. So far unable to get out.
That time Samuel comes back, gets a lateral, he catches it behind the line of scrimmage and loses a yard.
That's the term, leveraging the football. They don't let him outflank them. They get to the outside. That time Van Smith gets to the outside. You saw the linebacker Bulware running from the inside. They were determined coming into this game not to let Curtis Samuel beat them. Make somebody else beat us, but it can't be number 4. A lot of times 2 defenders following him wherever he goes.
Dismal 3rd down evening for Ohio State, just 2 for 9. They need 6 here. Pressure, they pick it up, incomplete. Ball was the receiver out there, but Mark Fields, the corner in coverage, broke it up. 4th down again.
And what did they do in the first half? A bunch of zone on 3rd down. What do they do here early in the second half? Now you're going to see Clemson football. This is what they do. This is where they bring pressure. They like to confuse you. And look at the right here. You have the tight end. He's not quite able to be in sync. He's been seeing a lot of zone. This time he's in man-to-man, not able to get separation from the defender. Good job at changing it up.
Still just 3 first downs for this offense. Johnston takes off running and then just drills a deep punt. Wow, Scott has room though along the near sideline and slips as he tries to cut back at the 32. A flag is down.
And it's either I saw it was right at the punter, so I don't know if it's running in or roughing the punter.
Tough to get out of his way because Johnson took a little extra long run before booting that ball.
He also may have a Ohio State player that time. Looked like Chris Worley may be involved in a hold too.
Holding. Kicking team number 35. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced at the end of the play. First down.
Good spot, Kirk. That's a penalty indeed. A 61-yard punt, a 16-yard return.
To the far right, Worley right there just grabs him.
Absolutely grabbed him to prevent the block. Yep. Tigers back to work, still up 17.
PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, brought to you by Gatorade, the proven sports fuel. Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. Allstate, proud supporters of college football. It's good to be in good hands. And AT&T, get your entertainment and sports your way from AT&T.
Goodyear providing our Arrow coverage again tonight. Committed to honoring blimp-worthy athletes who demonstrate hard work on and off the field. Goodyear, official sponsor of the college football playoff. Clemson has run 19 more plays than Ohio State tonight, Kirk, and had the Buckeyes defense back on the field. Ball spotted at the 41 after the hold on that punt. So Clemson's offense, are they going to begin to wear down this group?
You wonder how much the offensive struggles for Ohio State has a negative impact on their own defense. The Buckeyes defense has been asked to come up with play after play to keep them in the game, but when you're going 3 and out every single time on offense, you wonder it could take a toll on the psyche of the Ohio State defense. See how long they can keep battling against Deshaun Watson.
McLeod comes in motion. That's just window dressing. That they flip it to him in the flat. Again, great blocks on the edge. The Tigers receivers have been strong in that area tonight.
Great job here of keeping the linebacker inside with the ball fake. Then you can get him outflanked. A little bit of a ball fake. Force Worley to have to respect it. Frees his feet for a second. And then McLeod gets outside of him there.
Deion Kane helped with the block. They gained 20 yards inside Ohio State's 40. Watson fakes the run, flips it over the middle and just behind Gallman there. There's a little wrinkle.
Yeah, the little wrinkle is Raekwon McMillan is making every tackle against the run. So let's make him pay for being overly aggressive by kind of almost like a little jump pass behind him. They tried to kind of use Wayne Gallman as a decoy, saying, oh, he's just going to come out and block. And they try to flip it right over top of him and just didn't quite hit that, out of sync.
Shot at Tyquan Lewis there, Kirk. Hands on hips, the wear and tear you've mentioned. McLeod on the pop pass into the boundary, really nowhere to run. Berger and Hubbard string it out.
Now the rotation from Greg Schiano and Luke Fickell on that defensive line, they played 8 tonight. And the reason they've got to play 8 is it's not just being exhausted because of facing the up tempo. It's also dealing with the psyche, as we talked about a little bit earlier. But here's another big 3rd down opportunity.
Rushman back in there. And 3rd and 7. Gallman motions back in for pass protection. Buckeyes do bring the heat. Watson hit and sacked for the 2nd time. Tyquan Lewis got him. Sack leader on this team.
We talked about how Clemson can get pressure. Ohio State can get pressure as well. This is just tremendous effort and speed here on a 3rd down. Lewis gets the corner on the true freshman, Sean Pollard. That's that combination of having that great bend, tremendous athletic ability, and strength to come up with that big play on 3rd down.
So sacks for Myers defense on consecutive possessions, this time forcing Teasdale to punt. Buckeyes have the feeling of being on the ropes here, but again, the defense does make a play to keep them in this game. Teasdale tries to knock it dead deep there, and Samuel steps up to the 11 to make a fair catch. Only 6 to go, though, 3rd quarter. Buckeyes need to get something going. The All-State bus. Curtis making the long drive to Glendale. Now time for your All-State street cred pick this week.
All-State and I have been awarding street cred all year on Twitter and spotlighting the best performance of the week in college football. And today the performance by Alabama in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The obvious choice. Look at that, 16 straight wins against AP ranked opponents.
The longest in the poll era. 26 wins overall for Saban's team, who awaits the winner in Tampa on January 9th. Buckeyes and Barrett running all the way. It's about a 10-yard gain. That's really his best run tonight.
Yeah, one of the few times he's had a little bit of room to run. He had a nice block there by A.J. Alexander that tied in. And Ohio State has not been able to stretch this Clemson defense at all, allowing Clemson to crowd that line of scrimmage like we saw against Michigan and Michigan State late in the year.
Top pass now to Samuel. Nowhere to run. They string it out. They wanted to play with tempo tonight, but you can't play with tempo if you can't make a 1st down.
No, and you're getting pushed back into the backfield. I mean, this Clemson defense, they're not fearing anything at all downfield. Ohio State's, I think, attempted maybe 4 passes downfield beyond 10 yards. You can see 1 of 3 in the middle. Only 21 yards in the entire game. So if you're Clemson, you don't fear anything downfield. And with the way the pass rush is getting after J.T. Barrett, This defense is squeezing, especially in on number 4 in those short passes in the run game.
It's not really downfield. That's only 11 yards.
No,
they're taking deep shots.
Right. No, right.
Barrett from the pocket does take a deep shot and overshoots Corey Smith. And really hasn't made an impact play all year. They tried to catch the Tigers off guard with him running a fly route.
Yeah, and Clemson does a good job of getting back there. You can see there's Tankersley, but Van Smith coming over. If nothing else for Urban Meyer, at least we just talked about it, at least there's an attempt downfield. They don't hit it, but it lets Clemson know that Ohio State will at least try to challenge them downfield, try to back them up.
Didn't let his receiver have a chance to make a play, though. Now they need 13 on 3rd down. Or they face another punt. JT sacked back inside the 10 by Clelin Ferrell, who has had a dominant evening off the edge.
Here's a stunt. Here's just more like Clemson's defense. The stunt comes around to be able to get in. They blitz the linebacker here. This is where you expect to see more of a challenge because of the complexity. The center moves down to his left. Nobody accounts for Ferrell, who comes all the way around on the twist up front. And that time, JT Barrett, no chance at all.
Johnston from his end zone. This time it's a shorter boot. High, though. Scott interfered with. It's a muff, but the Buckeyes got too close to him that time. Terry McLaurin, the receiver, didn't give Artavis a chance to field it, so that muff will be nullified. Talk about the guys off the edge, Kirk, whether it's been Vic Beasley, Shaq Lawson, and Kevin Dodd a year ago, and the beat goes on with Ferrell. They are just able to find and develop these edge pass rushers so well with that program.
Now they recruit. I mean, that is a big priority for Brent Venables. Think about what he's done since he's been at Clemson with the sacks. I mean, it's a big part of their defensive scheme.
Opportunity to catch the kick. Kicking team number 83. A 15-yard penalty. 1st down, Clemson.
And back to your point, in the 5 years that Brent Venables has been there as a defensive coordinator, they average 42 sacks a year.
Incredible. If you find yourself in Tampa for the championship game, enjoy Playoff Fan Central, free for everybody. If you got a ticket to the game, appearances by the school bands, cheerleaders, mascots, pep rallies, games, sponsor activities, and more. That's Friday, January 6th through Sunday the 8th at the Tampa Convention Center. collegefootballplayoff.com for more info. Tigers getting a little closer to a rematch with Alabama in that championship game. 4:09 in the 3rd, and after that kick catch interference, the ball moved to the Ohio State 40 to begin this possession. Buckeye defense up against it one more time, Kirk.
Sean Watson due for a shot downfield.
Instead, they fake the pitch, and he takes off with a bevy of blockers, and Watson down inside the 25.
Little toss sweep fake to Gallman. Sets up the blockers coming around on the right side. Look at the big tight end. Jordan Leggett picks up a big block. Well, we have seen some misdirections plays for Watson with Ohio State flowing so quickly, going back the other way, that have produced some big yards for him on the ground.
17 that time. This is Gallman with the quick burst. Gallman down near the 10. Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott did a terrific job calling the plays for the Tigers tonight, keeping the Buckeyes off balance.
Again, it played very well on this side of the ball, the Ohio State defense. But the wear and tear of having to continue to come out and make plays and continue to try to withstand Deshaun Watson when your own offense is going 3 and out almost every time, taking a toll.
Gallman down to the 5, and Clemson again threatening to bust this thing open. It gets to 24-0. The way Ohio State and Barrett have struggled, it would be a steep climb.
Now you run Wayne Gallman, it sets up obviously not just Gallman but Deshaun Watson running the other way. You run left with Gallman, you can go back to the right with Watson.
Gallman tries to bounce it and stretch it out well. It was Nick Bosa disrupting the play early. Damon Webb cleaned it up.
The future Nick Bosa has. He's just a true freshman. Joey Bosa with a great career at Ohio State. Off to the NFL, the San Diego Chargers. His younger brother Nick, wearing that same number, has stepped up and has shown such promise, such a future. That time did a really good job of getting off the block and showing his quickness to get outside.
Deja vu, Kirk, as the Buckeyes defense tries to prevent a Clemson touchdown, force another short field goal attempt, 3rd and goal, or 3rd and 6, I should say, to get a first down at the 1. Watson, another keeper, cuts it back and scores for a 2nd time, and the Tigers are getting closer to Tampa. Which quarterback would make a bigger impact as a runner tonight? That was a key question coming in, and the emphatic answer has been number 4 in orange. 7-yard run. He's thrown for 1, run for 2 now. $24-0.
Kind of, again, the misdirection, a little bit of action that goes this way, and then he comes back. But watch the block right here, the double team, and how they push Bosa, the freshman, basically into the end zone. It gets a little action to the right. They come back. There's the double team. He cuts back behind the double team for the touchdown. Well designed, well executed, and the patience again from Watson on a misdirection play.
When he gets down to the red zone and runs it, he's not afraid to cut it back and run it right up in against with the big boys in there.
And down inside that red zone, he's more of a downhill runner. Outside, he'll get outside and run to the perimeter. Urban Meyer knows that was a big blow. Now down 24.
First points of the 3rd quarter. Deshaun Watson loves this building. Gave Saban's Bama defense all kinds of trouble a year ago, and now coming back to Glendale with another big night, perhaps earning a rematch against the Tide. 17 minutes to play, but it just feels like a massive challenge for Ohio State as they try to get something going on the return. A.J. Alexander, they've had really about as many return yards as offensive yards tonight. And trophy, of course, will await the winner here against Alabama in Tampa, presented by Dr. Pepper, January 9th here on ESPN. It's a week from Monday.
Now Ohio State even more in predictable position with their play calling. It's been such a tough night for this offense. Only 103 yards of total offense.
Look at Mike Weber, only carried it twice. Fumbled the ball, dropped the pass early. He's been a non-factor. 1,000-yard rusher. Barrett immediately looks to take a shot downfield. Has Victor running free. Goes up. Flag comes in as it's broken up. They'll get an interference call on the underthrow. Edmond was back there defending against the freshman.
Ohio State took another shot. Last couple series, they're finally trying to attack downfield. Talked about how Clemson's not respecting that. And they're crowding the running game. They're crowding the short passes.
Pass interference. Defense number 29. A 15-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
Interesting. They've taken some downfield shots with guys like Corey Smith and Victor.
Watch Farrell get pressure here and get into the face again to J.T. Barrett with Wilkins. Look at this. I mean, he's had it all night. He actually looking at the official, and that ball's underthrown, and that's why there's pass interference. Edmond runs into the young freshman Victor, who's coming back to the ball.
JT pump fake, and now again looks downfield, this time for McLaurin, and it's going to be a 2nd consecutive pass interference, that time on Mark Field. That's been their best thing tonight, is trying to draw PIs.
Again, you're getting a lot of man-to-man. Take a few shots downfield with the guys that you feel you're best with. JT Barrett, the timing.
Defense number 2, a 15-yard penalty, first down.
You combine pass interference with defensive holding, they have among the most in the FBS, Clemson.
Yeah. And again, Fields, good job by McLaurin getting behind him. 2nd time in a row here. Back-to-back plays. They've gotten behind coverage. Ball a little bit underthrown. And again, the defender runs right into the receiver. Urban Meyer saying, the heck with trying to sustain drives. Let's take some shots.
Moves the ball to the 35, and now Weber bows straight ahead. Lost the ball again. It's out. That time Ohio State recovers it, as for a second time Weber coughs it up in a big shot. Alexander, the tight end, made the recovery.
Yeah, well, he runs over one safety, Van Smith, but Jadar Johnson actually hits him and knocks that ball out. Second time that the ball has been out. Weber hasn't had his hands on the ball very much, and the few times that he has, twice he's put the ball on the ground. This time the big tight end, Alexander, gets it.
And Jadar Johnson's been involved in both forced fumbles.
Yep.
Yard and a half needed on second down. Barrett looked in the flat, now fires downfield, over the head and intercepted. Tankersley's got it. Tight ropes the sidelines. Samuel was open. The quarterback missed him, and now a scuffle after the pick on the far side, and flags come in. The bigger story is that Ohio State has turned it over in the final minute of this third quarter.
Ball sails on J.T. Barrett. He throws it, tries to throw it over top of the linebacker, Daniel. And by doing that, the ball ends up sailing on him. You see him right here in coverage. He's kind of sinking back, and I think the ball ends up floating, goes up and over Samuel, who makes a pretty good effort on the ball. And there's Tankersley after the tip ball. But there is a lot of personal fouls going on after the whistle.
Appeared to just tip off the hands of Samuel,
yep,
which made it a pretty easy pick for Tankersley, his fourth of the season. And then frustration a part of the return. So each team with 2 turnovers now.
There are 2 tip ball fouls by each team, and they will offset. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, passing team number 74. Correction, unsportsmanlike conduct, intercepting team number 99. His first of the game. First down, Clemson.
So Lan Clark sorting it out. Sweeney's still coaching hard, up 24-0 final minute. Watch these guys to show some poise here.
Yeah, and this again, the ball, we talked about how it looked, the ball is thrown high. Looks like it just goes off the fingertips of Samuel. Very good concentration by Tankersley. Watch Weber at the end after he makes the tackle. He kind of gets up and pushes Tankersley, and that's what got Watkins' attention. 94 came in there with a little bit of a push. Farrell's there as well. Just off the fingertips. Great reaction there by Tankersley.
But Barrett, a chance to make a downfield play after 2 pass interferences, had set Ohio State up. Instead, Tigers run Gallman here, and we'll head to the final quarter up by 24. Gallman has had to earn all 40 of his rushing yards tonight. Hadn't been easy. He's carried it 15 times. The Buckeyes have bottled him up pretty well. Less than 3 yards a carry. Watson still got it, chased, and it's deflected, incomplete. It was Baker on the rush who got a hand on it. 3rd and 9.
Admire that Ohio State defense. I mean, they are getting no help from their offense, and they, for the most part, they're still out there playing with energy, trying to get that ball back, not giving up.
Clemson has run 25 more plays than Ohio State has so far tonight. Buckeyes just 41 plays through 3 quarters. Different look from the Buckeye front on this 3rd and 9. And Watson flushed. Flag comes out. He's going to run for a first down, but this is back in the holding area.
Yeah, the left tackle held. Looked like Tyquan Lewis, who had some success earlier getting after Deshaun Watson. Like Mitch Hyatt. Boy, Mitch Hyatt. You know, he's got such a good future, just a sophomore, but he's being challenged by Tyquan Lewis.
Holding. Offense number 75. A 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's an offensive line, Kirk, that has just one senior. That's the center, Jay Guillermo. They got off to a slow start this season, but they have come on strong down the second half. An obvious hold there.
Yeah.
Tackle, more like it.
Well, and again, Lewis is one of the better pass rushers you'll see in the Big Ten. He does a good, just like we talked earlier about that combination that he has of quickness and strength. You get into third down, you know you're going to have to deal with number 59.
You got a couple of sophomores up there. You got a true freshman right tackle tonight in Sean Pollard.
Yeah.
Done a pretty good job. 24-0. This was Watson's touchdown run. Urban Meyer feeling the pain. Was that the dagger? End of 3 in Glendale. You're watching the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl on ESPN. Set for the final quarter. College football playoff semifinal number 2 at the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Place where the Tigers lost a heartbreaker in the championship game to Alabama a year ago, but have been ultra impressive through 3 quarters tonight. Determined to get back for a rematch with the Tide in Tampa this time in 9 days. Clemson with the football pinned back at the 10-yard line. Ohio State band hasn't quit.
No, they're still banging away.
3rd and 19 now. Let's see if they play it conservative up 24. They just hand it off inside. Gallman gets ahead of steam and gives it a go and does move the 6 out of the 30. Are you kidding me? That's a determined runner.
Yeah. And Gallman has had a quiet year by his standard and his expectations, but look at his knees up. It almost reminds you of like a Roger Craig back in the day with the 49ers and when he runs downhill.
Dabo says run it on 3rd and 19 and keep the drive alive. I like that.
Wow. He is such a slasher.
On the end around, Gallman running free, and now they're starting to gash that Ohio State run defense. The ball moved to midfield.
Talk about killing the will of a team. You pick up a first down on a run. With the way this whole game has gone, you come right back with another run, and again, there they are with their tempo, sensing that, right back to the line of scrimmage with a quick snap.
Sean still got it on the edge, chased down by McMillan. That's on just a 2-yard gain.
He had Hunter Renfrow up there on the sideline. He's just kind of running parallel to the line of scrimmage, trying to bait the defenders towards him and then flip it out to Hunter Renfrow, kind of like a triple option. But Ohio State took Renfrow out and eventually chased down Watson. This time they go trips up into the boundary there up the top.
Clemson now with a 400-yard mark in offense. Buckeyes sitting at 111 for this game. They go to the boundary, and McLeod muscled out of bounds by Conley after a short gain. Dabo wanted another penalty over there.
That has everything to do with how Ohio State responds to 3 receivers into the boundary. Because 2 of the corners were soft, they flip it out there. If he gets tight coverage, Chris, he'll end up running the ball back to the left with him or Wayne Gallman.
5 yards needed on this 3rd down play. Watson from the pocket delivers. It's a strike right at the marker to Fuller, who had the touchdown catch earlier. Will be a first down.
Well, that's the second time we've seen Fuller with the hands. Remember the touchdown that he had where he had to go on the wheel route. He had to have great concentration that time. Hooker really hit him right at the first down marker as soon as he had caught that football. But it's quite a reputation for being able to look that ball in and squeeze it.
He's been an unsung player who's played a big role tonight. Watson again fakes the throw and picks his way, hit hard by Bosa right at the line of scrimmage. I want to limit the quarterback hits up 24-0 here with a big game. Looks like coming up in 9 days.
Yeah, potentially a big game. But Ohio State's trying to defend this offense, and no matter who defends these guys, the personnel groupings, So many different formations, so many different looks that you try to prepare yourself for, and then you got to deal with run and throw and the vertical shots. Just a lot to defend. The motions really challenge your discipline.
Watson takes the shot downfield, and it's way overthrown. It was Kane, well covered that time by Denzel Ward. 3rd and 9. Clemson staying very aggressive, even up 24.
They're sitting right about at their average for the year at 50% on 3rd down. One of the best in the country at 3rd downs. It has everything to do with the system, but especially when the trigger man is Deshaun Watson, with the ability to run and throw and make great reads. Find the
#1 Kirk
matchups.
in this situation in the country on 3rd and long because of the reasons you outlined. Watson this time though hit, knocked backwards, is able to throw it away to avoid the sack.
I mean, he got leveled by the blitzing Conley and just shook him off.
How many times have we seen him take a big shot, just kind of bounce away and not go down?
I don't think people at home, when you watch him on TV, realize how stout he is in person, how strong his legs are. Watch Conley will come from your right. He's at full speed, hits him right there. He's able to shake him off and just throw that football away, avoid the big loss.
He's worked hard, added what, about 15 pounds of muscle.
He's gotten a lot stronger from where he was last year.
That's one more thing to like about him as you begin to ponder him at the next level. Buckeyes come after the punt right up the middle. Teasdall kicks a very high short kick, and a fair catch made at the 19. They thought they could get close, maybe block a punt tonight. Came close, but not quite. College football playoff bracket brought to you by AT&T. Bama with the 17-point win earlier in Atlanta after the Huskies drew first blood, awaiting apparently Clemson, what would be a rematch, of course, of the 45-40 Bama win here a year ago. Either way, it was going to be a rematch because, of course, Ohio State beat Bama the first playoff year, the upset down in the Superdome. But Ohio State, Kirk, a grim evening. This is almost historically grim. If you look about the history of the Buckeyes in bowl games, shutout in the Rose Bowl by Cal in 1920. It is the only bowl shutout for this program. Been very few shutouts, period. And Meyer has not been blown out like this since he returned to become head coach at Ohio State. This would be by far the most lopsided loss he's tasted. He only had 5.
Yep.
Samuel breaks free. Curtis Samuel in the clear. Johnson chasing him. Cuts it back and backpedals out of bounds. They waited all night to get number 4 loose.
All night in a counter play where he follows the left tackle and the center. Watch the center and the left tackle come around. Nice job also showing some strength. Cleveland Farrell almost brought him down from behind at the beginning, but he shows the strength and then the speed to pick up some big yards.
Buckeyes in the red zone, and immediately they misfire. Had 111 yards coming into that play. Got more than half with the 64 that Samuel created. And now he's set back by a false start.
False start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
DeMarco Jones, he was the one that stepped on the guard Michael Jordan. Happened very early in the game, and it just seemed to discombobulate that Buckeye front. They've had all kinds of trouble tonight.
You can see Jordan back and still trying to play through that pain over at left guard spot.
1st and 15. Another high throw from JT. And he went down hard after the incompletion. He's been off target tonight.
Remember when Chidar Johnson, the safety from Clemson, number 18, came out and said some things publicly this week, and a lot of people in the media and some fans thought he was talking trash about JT Barrett. He said, hey, we played better quarterbacks. If we make him throw to win, we're going to win the game. We got to stop him from running. That was the game plan. Make Ohio State have to throw, pass protect, receivers try to get separation. It's kind of been the plan.
And stopped behind the line. Barrett that time by Christian Wilkins. So Johnson was urged by his coaches to go back up that talk, and with the help from his teammates tonight, they have done that, in fact.
Absolutely, they've done it. Remember, Johnson also made some comments one time early in the year about Lamar Jackson, so he's kind of had a history of doing that. But you're right, tonight they have backed it up. Here it's a misread on a zone read from J.T. Barrett. With the defensive end taking the quarterback, he should have handed that one off that time to Mike Weber.
The penalty and the loss after the big play by Samuel sets up a 3rd and 17. Field goal doesn't do you any good here. You figure they have 2 plays to get it. They got to hurry, and they'll call a timeout with 1 second on the play clock. You think Urban's thinking 2 plays here, right? The field goal,
absolutely
useless at this point.
Yeah.
Take a break.
PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, brought to you by PlayStation. Every day is the big game on PlayStation. Greatness awaits. Taco Bell's $1 double stack tacos, the Lincoln Motor Company, and the Capital One Venture Card. Earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day.
Allstate's been sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets for 12 years now, making contributions to universities' scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. 10:33 to play. Buckeyes with the football. They need 17 on 3rd down.
We were talking at the break about, whether it's obviously they got to go for it if they get to a 4th down, but they're thinking of still a 3-possession game. If they can get into the end zone, they've got to be going for 2, obviously.
First problem is get the 17 yards.
Right.
And Barrett's going to be knocked down, and now can you go for it from way back at the 35? Carlos Watkins, the senior leader of that group, with the sack.
Nice job of going here and here. It's actually Watkins that comes from right there to be able to move across. See how he fights through? Forces that Ohio State offensive line to have to communicate. Bounces off the center elf line and is able to get home. Again, you can get creative like that with stunts, something that Alabama's eventually going to have to deal with next week, and not have to blitz. They're playing zone behind it, but twisting up front, and it's enough to affect the communication of that offensive line.
What do you got on 4th and 27 here? Got to get to the 6-yard line.
Hail Mary, looks like.
Barrett hit as he throws and just throws into the end zone where it's going to be intercepted. Van Smith's going to run it out. Smith has open space. Barrett trying to cut him off, but he cuts it back. Van Smith knocked down at the 15, and the Clemson defense makes one more emphatic play to perhaps close this out. There's some flags, there's some guys on the field, a lot going on.
That play sums up to me the entire night. 4th down and forever. Hail Mary to throw, to try to execute, to try to pick up a 1st down. And the smartest play was by Van Smith. Instead of taking a knee, he saw the energy as he looked out from the Ohio State offense, and he said, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take it out. Nobody's chasing him. Couple of linemen give a little bit of effort, but he came close to taking this over 100 yards to the end zone.
Watch Barrett.
Personal foul, illegal low block.
Barrett kind of tried to
16. That penalty will be enforced. Half the distance.
Tried to avoid the block of Bulware.
Clemson.
It was a penalty after the 86-yard return. It was actually more than that because it was middle of the end zone. Pagano was the injured Clemson player on the return. And the folks in orange are having a party now. Ohio State with another turnover, their 3rd, all of them in the second half. 1st and goal now, ball at the 8-yard line. No loss of energy in the guys in orange. You see them sprinting down there to throw rocks.
That's what I'm saying, though. It was a good job by Van Smith saying he very easily should say, hey, I'm just going to take a knee. You're up 24. What's the chance? Why chance it and risk it? Instead, I think he looked at Ohio State's offense and said, I can outrun these guys, and just took off.
Second pick of the season for the sophomore safety. And now Deshaun in the offense, knocking on the door. Quarterback just rolls out, looks to flip it in the end zone. Nobody open, so he'll get knocked out of bounds. I think if you're Clemson, you might want to limit the hits on the quarterback with the championship game looming at this point.
You were talking at a break about whether or not it's time to maybe pull him out with 9 minutes to go. And I think if they end up scoring here, you'll see him taken out.
Or at least just not call plays where he's likely to get a hit.
Run 4 or run 9, rather.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, but he wants to run. I mean, he wants to get into the end zone.
No doubt. A bunch of guys on the left under center. Gallman takes the pitch and just walks in to cap a tremendous creative evening for this Clemson offense.
I like the word creative because the lack of imagination on the other side has been exposed. How about the motion here to take the man-to-man defensive back Ward out of the play? He goes with the receiver, and it's just a quick pitch. There's nobody left to the outside there. All the action goes left, including the jet sweep. Take the corner, Denzel Ward with him, and a quick little flip to Wayne Gallman, and he gets to the corner for a touchdown.
So Gallman gets to the end zone for the first time, and quietly now he's got an 85-yard rushing night after a very slow start. The Tigers are pummeling the Buckeyes midway fourth quarter, 31-0. Tripleheader on Monday begins with the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. The Badgers will have to try to reverse and slide for the Big Ten. Favorites against Western Michigan will be in Pasadena for the Trojans and the Nittany Lions at 5 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. And the nightcap from the Superdome, Auburn and Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl.
Big Ten now, after tonight, 2-5.
Yes, sir.
After a year where there was a lot of talk about the Big Ten, and maybe this is the year they're the best conference. And after Florida State winning last night over Michigan and Clemson winning tonight against Ohio State, the ACC's pounding their chest.
They're pounding opponents too, 8-3. And Deshaun Watson, Kirk, apparently that's going to be it for him tonight. And what a night and what a month for this guy. ACC championship game MVP against Virginia Tech, goes to New York, Heisman finalist for a second time, graduates, the first in his family to graduate. Did it in 3 years, and tonight comes out and once again in this building lights people up. Wow.
Yeah, if there's a guy that's easy to pull for, it's a guy like Deshaun Watson. Everything that's great about the sport of college football. You see Mike Williams, all these guys having some fun with him down there. They worked their entire offseason to get a chance to get back to that national championship. And I think privately, probably hoping that Alabama got there. And now they're going to have their chance to play Bama again in a championship.
We'll talk more about that in the closing minutes. Meanwhile, Barrett, who's been really struggling after halftime as a passer, delivers far side, and that's broken up again. JT Kirk now 2 of 8 for 6 yards and the 2 interceptions in the second half.
And right now the motivation for the guys in orange is a shutout.
Yep.
I mean, there's 8:41 to go. Urban Meyer has never been shut out as a head coach.
Barrett steps up and flips it short to Weber, who's had a difficult evening, and knocked down. It'll set up another third down play.
What I take away from this game is the Clemson defense and the preparation that Brent Venables, his staff, and those players put in, and how Ohio State, with 3 or 4 weeks to get ready to try to change some tendencies, because they were limping down the stretch offensively. They were very one-dimensional. They weren't able to make enough changes. They got beaten up front at the line of scrimmage, and Clemson anticipated and expected a lot of things based on formations and down and distance.
On 3rd and 5, Barrett tries to pick his way and does spin for a first down out near the 40.
It kind of reminds me, just maybe it's being in this building. You and I were here in the 2007 national championship, the 06 season, when Urban Meyer was with the Florida Gators and Ohio State was here. Kind of has that same feel where Ohio State just can't get anything going throughout most of this game.
Well, they can't get Barrett free. He does spin and now just fires high, and the catch is made along the sidelines there by Corey Smith out near midfield. The motivation for Ohio State is to avoid that shutout. If you think about Urban Meyer, what you said there a minute ago, 194th game as a head coach, never blanked. Only lost 28.
Right.
And only 5 here at Ohio State. 2nd and 1. Across the middle again. That's made by Smith.
That was an area they thought they might have some success because of the linebackers, Boulware and Joseph, in the blitzing. That time they did blitz, and there was a nice big opening right behind them, and he just kind of sat right in that area, and Barrett got the ball out of his hands quickly.
Some backups in there on the Clemson front at the moment. Barrett, a lot of time, delivers across the middle, and it's dropped by Noah Brown. Another drop by this Buckeye receiving corps tonight.
He found the opening. I mean, you're rushing 3 and dropping 8. It's hard to find a spot to be able to throw it, but give Noah Brown credit for being able to settle into a soft spot. He just lack of concentration. The third drop that I can remember that cost Ohio State a first down.
That might have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
Barrett trapped, desperately heaves it away to Weber, the outlet receiver. It's a short gain. It'll be 3rd and 7 now. JT is just fighting for his life back there every snap.
They are getting after him. You're seeing Albert Huggins, the sophomore.
Fresh legs as a pass rusher.
That's right. Austin Bryant also chasing him down.
Seeing the depth of this Clemson defense as these mostly reserves now, in the front anyway, try to protect the shutout. Barrett delivers. Samuel, and it's just short of a first down. It'll be 4th down. A 1920 Rose Bowl game. Lee Corso remembers when Bears beat him 28-0. On 4th down, Weber is stuffed, and that is a fitting way to end this Ohio State possession. Pagano and company just snuff out another drive.
Yeah, you're talking about a team playing for a purpose and pride. They're up 31-0. You'd think it's a tie game. I mean, they want to preserve this shutout. They don't know probably that Urban Meyer's never been shut out. They just want to shut Ohio State out in this playoff. And what a huge stop there by Pagano on 4th down.
5:48 to go. Clemson rolling towards Tampa. It's been all Clemson tonight. Brilliant on both sides of the football. And the Ohio State fan base is headed for the exits. They've left behind some red and gray empty seats, but you contrast what we saw from this team and those fans, the lifetime memories, that double overtime win over Michigan. And I think that the coaching staff, the team, the fans perhaps as well, came here with a great deal of confidence. Did you sense that from Meyer, from Schiano yesterday? I think they're stunned by what they've seen in this game tonight from the other side.
I couldn't figure out, because usually Urban is very, very intense when you meet with him. He had a different kind of vibe to him for sure.
Nick Schuessler has replaced Watson. They hand it off straight ahead. Yeah, he's much more uptight in a big conference game. We saw before Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan. He had a real calm and assurance about him, but the 45-3 record with more than a week to prepare, the mythology around this man's ability to get a team ready with extra time, that has been crushed this evening tonight.
Yep.
Clemson has thoroughly outplayed, outcoached, outprepared him.
And I still think that there are people nationally that don't quite understand where Clemson stands in the landscape of college football with these last 5 or 6 years. I mean,
they better figure it out.
They are up there. They are a brand and a team that's not going away. They recruit at an incredibly high level.
Schuessler takes off, and the backup scampers out near midfield. They feel really comfortable about this guy, that if the worst happened and they lost Watson, that Schuessler would be a very competent backup. He's a graduate, veteran.
Yeah, he actually, there's Jalen Holmes, who's down. They feel very, very confident if he were to get in there. Of course, they want Deshaun Watson to play every snap. But you watch him when you go to their practices and watch him in scrimmages. He has a very good command and a feel for how to run this offense.
What you said, I think, about recruiting is important. They've cleaned up. They do well in state, but they recruit the South. They're beginning to recruit nationally. You talk about the quarterback pipeline. You think that, okay, there's some desperation, some urgency to win this year because Watson, although he's a junior, is moving on, and so is Williams and Scott and Gallman. But
they just got a commitment from a junior.
Yeah, Hunter Johnson is the 2000 recruiting class 17 top-rated quarterback. He comes in, and then you got Trevor Lawrence, who's the 2018 #1 recruiting prospect at quarterback coming in too. I mean,
Dabo Swinney has built a culture himself in his own way. It's kind of unique to him and his personality. They have a brand new facility that they're going to actually open this year on National Letter of Intent Day. That's going to only make them stronger when it comes to recruiting. But there's a vibe on their campus that's very different, and I think it allows him to be able to knock on doors and recruit people and say, just come to our campus.
What's the vibe that's different? What's different about it?
To me, he's kind of folksy. He's kind of legitimate, authentic father figure type of guy that genuinely cares about his players. And of course, football is important to him, and he wants to win. But I think it's a very authentic, real feel that he cares about your son, who you're going to let go and play for him for 4 or 5 years.
I asked Dabo about that. I said, the Ohio State way, as they describe it, is to make it very hard. Try to make you quit every day, and they forge tough players that way. And he said, no. That's the farthest thing from what we try to do. We try to nurture you. He calls it a family all the time. But whatever it is, the approach has worked very, very well.
Absolutely.
They're going to get back to the championship game for the second consecutive time, and he feels that even if they do win a championship, that's just a step in the journey, and that will go on. But dethroning Alabama, is this the team that can do it?
Absolutely. I felt early in the year that this is a team that could play with anybody in the country when they're playing their best. And tonight they've gone back to that laser focus about trying to get to Alabama. They've wanted a chance to get to that championship. They're going to get it. It's going to be a great matchup with Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide defense going up against this team. I think Clemson may be a more complete team than Alabama when you look at their offense and defense and special teams.
You drop it off short there. It's Schuster to Garrett Williams. Said more complete team than Alabama because the Tide's offense, again, did they struggle at times? They got the pick six. Defensively, there are no questions about that.
No. Their defense is right up there. People talk about being one of the better ones that Nick Saban's had. But I just think when you look at where they are with still a true freshman quarterback, there's some limitations in their passing game.
Wearing those guys all smiles. I mean, you think about last year's championship game, 85 points scored. There was a special teams touchdown by Alabama, of course, but the way the two defenses are playing going in, I think the expectation is going to be a much lower scoring game.
I think that's fair.
Tavian Feaster, the true freshman, breaks free. Everybody getting a chance to touch the ball in this playoff game now.
For the next 8 or 9 days, what you're going to hear a lot about is it's going to be Deshaun Watson and that offense going round 2 against Nick Saban and Jeremy Pruitt in that defense. I mean, I don't know about you, but when we left this stadium last year, I wanted to see more of that. I wanted to see more of Watson and Nick Saban's defense kind of matching wits and competing against each other.
Preseason 1 and 2, and I think there were your prediction that they would rematch in a championship game.
Yeah, I picked Clemson preseason, actually beat Bama to win the national title.
They'll be an underdog again. That's just the way they like it. In fact, Chris Fallica informing us that the experts just a bit north of here will make Alabama about a touchdown favorite in that championship game, about what they were last year. But Clemson now, as an underdog in bowls under Swinney, is going to go to 5-1, and every one of those wins have been against coaches who have won national championships. Think about that.
Right.
Les Miles, and then 2 now against Meyer, 2 against Bob Stoops.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
You put the names of the teams that they've beaten in those bowl games up on a graphic, and you look who they have beaten. And that's what's happened to them in these last 6 years is the confidence that they have gained from beating the teams that they have beaten from the SEC and the Big Ten and all over the country. That's why they walk into most games and feel that they can compete with anybody. And if you're on Clemson on that roster, is there anybody else at the beginning of the season that you would have wanted to make it to the end than Alabama? And I know everybody says I want Bama, but Clemson was going toe to toe with them a year ago in the championship. I'm sure that they're, again, privately very excited that it's going to be Bama in the championship.
Let's talk more about the matchup in Tampa on the Ford postgame show coming up. A lot of folks say we want Bama. That's the standard bearer. Few teams are equipped to deal with it. Clemson
right.
perhaps is one of them. Inside of a final minute, and Nick Schuessler will punctuate what has been a tremendous performance by this Clemson team offensively and defensively. Adam Choice now gets a carry, and the former starter at tailback, before he was injured, lost the job to Gallman a couple years ago.
Oh, they got him.
He deserves it.
Oh man,
fifth year here at Clemson.
Give him a game ball. I mean, all the players, but that guy right there, not just a shutout, but when you go back and look at the film and study the tape, the calls that he made.
Offense number 14, 10-yard penalty. Third down.
I agree, but not just a shutout. I mean,
I'm just saying it's not just because of that. I mean, I'm saying if you dissect it and look at how he broke tendencies and he did some things that you weren't really expecting. Usually when he does that, it's in an aggressive manner. This time it wasn't necessarily in that aggressive manner.
Exactly. But however it was dominant. 208 total yards allowed to Ohio State, and it felt like less than that.
Well, you take away
big plays late.
Take away the big run by Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, that was for 64 of those yards. And we got to blow the whistle. The center judge was over there. The play clock was ticking down. Clemson's going to take a timeout here. One factor that Dabo Swinney was talking about, not that he was looking past this game because he wasn't, I asked him, it's a quicker turnaround between the semifinal and the championship game. They got the long trip back home. This game on a Saturday, not a Friday like last year. So they've already scouted. They scouted both teams. They're obviously very well acquainted with Alabama, but they're going to go right to work on the plane ride home on the championship game. And it'll be a more compressed schedule than it was a year ago. That's Bullware talking about Alabama.
Now, he said, who won that other game? What was the score?
Did he really not know?
He didn't know.
Come on. You telling me you were down here a minute ago? I think that was the first time you found out who they're going to play in Tampa? That's focus, I guess.
That was great stuff.
Bearded linebacker and his teammates going to shut out an Urban Meyer coach team for the first time in history, as you said. Here it is again. I think.
Moving up.
Here's old Ben. He has made himself a great player through heart and determination. Very instinctive player as well. Deshaun Watson, the offensive MVP. Cleveland Farrell, the pass rusher, had a terrific game. He's the defensive MVP of the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl.
He was all over the field. We expected Wilkins against Prince maybe to be a factor, but it was the other side. Farrell.
Victory formation, and the Tigers beat down and blank the Buckeyes to book a ticket to Tampa. Tigers and Tide 2, the sequel coming up.
Please go to your bench.
Landon Clark says get back to the bench. We got 9 seconds to play. Urban, I think he wants it to be over.
That was fourth down where they took that knee, so Ohio State has to take one more snap.
JT Barrett obviously deeply disappointed. His first chance to play in a playoff game. Injured, of course, when the Buckeyes went to the title a couple of years ago with Cardale Jones quarterbacking the final 3 games. And in game 194 as a head coach, Bowling Green, Utah, Florida, and Ohio State, Meyer blanked for the first time. Clemson far more than double the number of total yards. First downs are 25-9, and 2 of the first downs for Ohio State came on penalties. Celebrate, Ben Bulwer. You've earned it. They will get their crack at the Tide. Again, as underdogs. Wouldn't have it any other way. Final play. And Weber tackled. And now fire those confetti cannons. It is over. That gets felt over for a while here in Arizona.
Yep.
Watson throws for 259 and a touchdown. Runs for 57 more and 2 touchdowns. A quick exchange between two coaches who are good friends. A thud to end the season for Meyer's team. And Dabo, an Alabama graduate. He's got 2 degrees from Alabama. Was a walk-on wide receiver, a graduate assistant, and an assistant coach for a second straight year. Goes head-to-head against his alma mater for a title. Back to the Natty, Clemson. Let's hear from Dabo with Samantha.
Yeah, Chris, he's getting his new hat on. Just happened to get one of those. Coach, we talked at halftime, and things weren't perfect. There were some sacks, there were some interceptions, some missed opportunities, and yet you come out on top 31-0. How is it possible for your team to do that with that type of adversity?
Well, it's a team effort, total team effort. You know, you get to this stage, it's talent plus teamwork plus intelligence. Outside of a couple of spots, we played pretty smart all night. We played physical in the trenches, played unbelievable defense. I mean, a shutout against one of the best offenses in the country. Just can't say enough about our defensive pressure. Again, outside of a couple of boneheaded mistakes where they got behind us, and then offensively, we got the best player in the country in number 4, and he showed that again tonight. Wayne Gallman, we made some big plays. Just continued to stay with it. We finished a couple of drives that we needed to finish that we didn't finish in the first half, but just a complete team effort. Really proud of our staff, and so happy for Clemson Nation, our fans. Back-to-back playoffs, back-to-back national championship appearances. Hopefully we can finish this year.
Coach, you mentioned your defense. Urban Meyer's teams have never in his head coaching career been shut out. I'm told you challenged your defense at halftime to finish this out. How were they able to do that?
Well, that's unbelievable. I didn't know that. But we just stayed locked in. That was one thing we talked about at halftime. I think they had 88 yards at half. And I said, can we play 4 quarters of defense? Can we play 4 quarters of smart defense, make them earn it? And, again, outside of a couple plays. But I'll tell you, one of the key things that we talked about coming this game was red zone defense. We knew they would get in the red zone some, and could we play great red zone D? And they did. We had a couple stops on downs. We had turnovers in the red zone. Just a tremendous performance. I don't know how many sacks we had, but we had great pressure on those guys. And again, a total team effort. Special teams, creating field position. We had a couple drives where we didn't score, but we moved it out, punted the ball to where they got to go 80. So just a smart football game and a 4-quarter game by all phases.
Last thing for you, we're going to send it over to your quarterback. But, Coach, your fans all year long have been saying, we want Bama. Now you've got them. What do you think?
Better watch what you wish for. Listen, we're excited. This is how we ended last year, Clemson, Alabama, and that's how it's going to end this year. Obviously I got a lot of respect for Alabama. Spent a long time there. They are who they are because they've been the best. They've been the standard. And, everything, when you get a first down, you better strike up the band and play it because you have to earn everything. So we all know the challenge that we'll have. We're going to have a great week of prep. But we're excited. Eventually, if you're going to ever be the best, you got to beat them. And it'll be an unbelievable game down in Tampa. And just glad that we got a shot. That's all you can ask for. So we've earned it. Congratulations to Alabama, too. To do what they've done this year, I know how difficult that is. It's going to be a heck of a ball game down in Tampa. Let's get it on.
All right. Well, Coach, your wife is right behind you. She's really excited. I'll let you get to her. Tom Rinaldi, take it away.
Sam, thank you very much. Alongside the player called the best in this country by his head coach, Deshaun Watson. A year ago on this field, a transcendent performance in a loss against Alabama, and now the performance tonight. What is it about this place that just seems to suit you, Deshaun?
I don't know, just special. Hopefully, I just go out and play ball and, try to be my best for this team and help this team win. We kind of started off slow, With the might slip on the corner ball, and got picked it off, and but we had to find our rhythm, and that's what we did. None of us flinched. Adversity hit us, but we always kept rolling. We kept believing, and our defense played their ass off. We got to give credit to them, and Ohio State's a great team, but we came out on top.
All season long, the mantra has been embrace the target. How did that help you tonight?
Hey, just don't run into it. The great ones run to it, and that's what we've been doing all year. A lot of people have been doubting us. A lot of people, don't really respect us, but hey, we don't worry about the outside people. We worry about what Clemson is about. We keep believing, and we just keep grinding, and that's what we focus on, and everything else will take care of itself.
We've talked often, Deshaun, about the feeling you had a year ago walking off this field in the loss against Alabama. Having worked this hard, what's the difference between getting there and getting back there?
Finishing, finishing and being the team that, be on that stage at the end of the game, and having the confetti fall on us, we celebrate. And we have another opportunity. God don't make mistakes. He put us in this position for a reason. And honestly, I think he's smiling on Clemson University. So we go back to work and celebrate this one and get ready for Bama.
Did you want Bama?
Of course. I want the best of the best. They're the champs, they're the king, and we got to go earn it. We got to go earn it.
Great performance tonight. We'll see you for one more in Tampa.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Chris?
They'll try to win the belt by knocking out the champ. To even be in a position to win a championship a year after losing a championship game is so difficult. The last team to successfully do it, got to go back to the '99 Florida State team. They beat the Hokies in the Superdome a year after losing to Tennessee out here in the desert. Clemson trying to become the first team since then to do that. Lose one year, come back the next year and win it. And as fate would have it, it is a rematch with the kings of college football at the moment, Alabama.
And you heard Deshaun Watson say right there to Tom that, this is what we wanted. And we talked, I don't know if they would admit that publicly, but he just did. He said we want to beat the best and be challenged by the best. And I thought tonight, of all the games he played this year, he looked loose. He looked just freed up. He had a smile in the warm-ups. A lot of times this year, he almost didn't look like he was having fun because of the burden of trying to live up to unrealistic expectations. Tonight, I think he knew what was coming and just went out there and balled and ran and threw and directed his team to a big win.
Yeah, he threw 2 more picks tonight. He throws a lot of picks, but he shakes them off. Nothing makes him panic, and Watson recovers from the early turnover and leads the Tigers back to the championship game. The Ford wrap-up show is coming up.
Postgame is brought to you by Ford. We go further so you can.
Welcome to the Ford postgame show. The national championship game is coming up, as we mentioned, from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. The sequel, the Tide versus the Tigers, 8 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Reese Davis to present the trophy that weighs more than some of the players. I'm not kidding. It's like a 200-pound Fiesta Bowl trophy, which the Tigers will claim. And we'll be back to talk more about the championship game after this. Reese, take it away.
Good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. What a way to ring out 2016, especially for those of you wearing orange. Congratulations. I think you know why we're all up here. We're here to present the championship trophy from the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. I'd like to make some introductions now. Joining me from the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, the chairman of the board, Mike Hekamovich, the executive director, Mike Mealy, and from PlayStation, Eric Limpel. Thank all of you for being up here. Mike, let's hand out some hardware. What do you say?
On behalf of the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl and the College Football Playoff, congratulations to both of these outstanding teams for a great effort tonight and throughout the season. It's now my honor to present the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl Playoff Semifinal Trophy to head coach Dabo Swinney and the Clemson University Tigers.
Dabo, I assume you didn't want to try to lift this whole trophy here. But I tell you, your team did some serious heavy lifting tonight. Given the stage and the opponent, how would you characterize this performance?
Our best game of the year, best 4 quarters of the year, dominant performance. We were at our best on the biggest stage. And I'm just really proud of our preparation, our staff. I'm happy for all these fans that traveled out to Arizona to see the Tigers. But I'm really, really happy for those people who sat their butt at home and bought their tickets to Tampa. They put a lot of pressure on us. So I'm happy we're going to Tampa. And I'm really happy that these aren't cubic zirconium. These are real deal diamonds right here now. It's a real deal.
And your team has been the real deal, and you talked about the pressure. Your team's had a target on its back since the splendid performance here a little less than a year ago. What's it like to take this team and get back to the national championship game?
Well, it's been a special run. You know, it takes commitment. It takes mental and physical toughness. It takes culture. It takes love. That's what this team has. We talked about it last night. This team has an appreciation for each other. You know, Ben Boulware rooms with the backup quarterback. The star players are great friends with the walk-on who don't play. That's what this team has that's special. It's a genuine appreciation for each other and the role that they play. And we got a staff that's second to none. We got a fan base. But let me tell you, it ain't easy to do. We talked all year, we're going to embrace the target. We're going to run right at it, run right to it. And that's what these guys have done. They've accepted the challenge. We've played everybody. This is our 5th bowl win in a row, beating Ohio State twice, LSU, and Oklahoma twice. All right? Sooner or later, people are going to realize that Clemson is an elite program that has done unbelievable things on and off the field. And the credit goes to the good Lord and to all these players and the former players. Because this didn't start this year. This started in 2009 with that first team that won the division. We've won 5 divisions now. That first team in 11 that won the league, we've won 3 now. That first team in 11 that won 10 games, we've won 6 years now. So it's all those guys. Not just this team. This is for everybody. Tigers.
I know everybody knows it. Now you got the rematch. Dabo, congratulations. Dabo Sweeney, champions of the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Mike, we have some players to honor as well.
Yeah, and now for our player awards. For Offensive Player of the Game from Clemson University, number 4, Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun, the standard that you set with your performance on this field a year ago and how you had to carry that throughout the year, how did that impact the drive that this team has shown throughout the season?
It's been amazing. Each and every day, these players come to work, from the starters to the walk-ons, to the coaches, the GAs. Everyone just come to work each and every day, try to get better. And, our motto is, try to get 1% better and make each other better. And iron sharpens iron. And, I just really appreciate all my teammates, all my coaches, and just really, I'm the MVP, but my offensive line is really the MVP. Those guys protect me and open up holes. So I love those guys and just love all the Clemson fans that came out here to Arizona and that's supporting us back home. And just get ready to go to Tampa.
And so how long will you celebrate this before you start looking to that rematch?
Oh, I'm going to celebrate.
You ought to celebrate, my friend. Congratulations to Deshaun Watson with another terrific performance. And we've got a defensive player to honor as well.
For Defensive Player of the Game from Clemson University, number 99, Clelon Ferrell.
Cleveland, you were all over the place, my friend, everywhere. How important was it to you guys, second half, to go ahead and finish off with a shutout?
I mean, that's all we talked about all year is just playing 4 quarters, and that's what we came out here and tried to do, man. Hats off to my teammates, my coaches, and we realized that we're playing for something bigger than ourselves, and that's the best fans in the country. So I'm just happy that I got the opportunity to help my team today.
Hey, what's the deal with you in big games? Louisville, Florida State, Virginia Tech, now Ohio State, multiple tackles for loss every time the lights shine bright. What's going on?
I mean, when I was getting recruited here, my Coach Hobby was like, hey, you coming to Clemson, expect great things. So just coming here, I expected to play in the big games because we had Clemson. So I just feel like no moment is too big for me and my teammates, and I just came in here and tried to perform my best. So I'm happy I got able to do that.
You did that tonight. Congratulations. Great performance tonight against a very good Ohio State team. Cleveland Farrell, defensive MVP.
Thank you to PlayStation, the City of Glendale, and our Game Operations Committee. And thank you to participating conferences, universities, and fans for supporting the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a very happy New Year.
Chris, I know all the folks in orange and purple are going to have a happy New Year for sure, and the rematch is now set.
Reese, indeed. These folks will be the lucky ones anyway, headed to Tampa to see if the Tigers can dethrone the Crimson Tide. Much more in this game. Sports Center coming up with Scott Van Pelt. The complete wrap-up of both semifinal games, and of course a look ahead of the Tide versus the Tigers 2 coming up in Tampa. Deshaun Watson threw the early interception, but then he responded a touchdown run. Part of his 31st win as a starting quarterback. Threw a touchdown pass to C.J. Fuller, one of the unsung players who shined tonight. The backup tailback makes a nice catch. That got it to 17-0. Urban Meyer watched his team beaten A to Z, as he said in the first half, and they could never rally because Watson continued to pile on another touchdown run in the third quarter. And Meyer's team would be shut out. That's a first in his head coaching career after 194 games. Dabo Swinney and his staff rightfully basking in the glow of a tremendous month of preparation. They piled it on. Watson, as you saw, offensive MVP, 3 total touchdowns. Gallman got involved with a late scamper. And that Tiger defense limited Ohio State to 9 first downs. Dabo got doused and got dinged. Watch closely. Boom. Got him once and then got him twice with the edge of the bucket. But he's feeling no pain at the moment, Kirk.
No, he didn't feel that at all.
They have the golden football with those authentic diamonds. They are eyeing a bigger trophy against the Tide in Tampa. Emphatic tonight, 31-0 Clemson.
The Ford postgame is brought to you by Ford. We go further so you can.
Welcome back to the Ford postgame show. Tigers slowly making their way off of the field here. And the rematch is set up for Tampa on January 9th. Comes to Arizona, expect the unexpected.
Alabama comes into this game as the veteran team, the experienced team. And for Clemson, they've been the underdog all year.
The Heisman winner in the open field, headed for the end zone. Touchdown Tigers as the answer. The Tigers score. Who's going to win this test of wills for the championship? Now an onside kick. Alabama's got the ball back. Wide open is Howard for his second long touchdown tonight. He escapes. Deshaun Watson shows some of that wizardry. Look out, Kenyon Drake can fly. 95 yards. We hope for something tonight that would be special, and we got it. Alabama. Everybody gave everything tonight. And is this Clemson team that dominated Ohio State, can they be the group to dethrone big bad Bama? Of course, will be again about a touchdown favorite in that championship game as they were a year ago.
Be a lot of fun to see Deshaun Watson and that Alabama defense. By the time Alabama's defense takes the field, they're going to be so tired of hearing about Deshaun Watson getting a rematch opportunity. Nick Saban will have those boys dialed in and ready to play ball. But this is kind of, again, I think the preseason, even the AP had Bama 1, Clemson 2. A lot of people picked Clemson and Alabama to meet each other. So this is the game that a lot of people anticipated and expected, and there it is. Now we got it.
Interesting, Kirk. We've now played 3 years of the playoffs, so 6 semifinal games. 5 of the 6 have been blowouts. The one exception was Ohio State's upset over Alabama in 2014 down in the Superdome. But today, 2 lopsided games have produced what we hope will be a final that approaches the excitement on this field. A year ago, perhaps people will say a lot lower scoring with the way the defenses have played. I don't think anybody would expect 85 points like we had here a year ago.
No. I think the one thing that you have to be excited about seeing this is a lot of attention is going to be spent on Deshaun Watson and his offense against that Nick Saban and Jeremy Pruitt defense. But I think at the end of the day, it's maybe Lane Kiffin and his offense and how they can try to come up with some plays to try to make enough to be able to score, because it wasn't just today that Alabama's offense is at times struggling to try to kind of find their rhythm. There have been times when they've looked good. There have been times when it's been a bit of a struggle. Remember, they're at the opposite end. They're playing a true freshman quarterback who has tremendous upside, but he's still a true freshman. And the way this Clemson defense looked tonight, they're going to go into that game with a ton of confidence, probably a similar game plan, take away the Alabama run, and make Jalen Hurts throw the football consistently.
You heard Dabo Swinney say, he told his team before the season, embrace the target, run right to it. That's what Alabama's done under this tremendous run of Nick Saban. They've always been the team with the target. It's a tough thing to navigate your way through to a championship game. For 2 teams to do it in back-to-back seasons is impressive. We'll see who the last team standing is in Tampa.
Yeah, that's a great point, especially about Alabama having to endure that, live up to that hype year in and year out. And you got to give Bama a lot of credit for getting there.
So the Tigers, the long trip home, but they'll be celebrating briefly before turning their attention to the Tide. Well, we thank you for joining us here. The game was produced by Bill Bonnell, directed by Derek Mobley. We thank Dave Kataya. Thank Darren Brown, Mike Black, Mark Amento in the booth. So for Kirk and for Samantha and Tom and our entire production crew here in Arizona, we say thank you, and be sure to join us again Monday, January 9th for the championship game presented by AT&T, Alabama and Clemson, round 2. Sports Center coming up with Scott Van Pelt right now.